right, everybody. So it is the 19th day of August in the year of our Lord 2025. And you know what that means. It means we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.weLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast tag team champions of the world, the cliquing Mike Valentine. And over there is my buddy Cheese. And together, we are the 643 and out guys, and you're listening to the Sportz Truth. Cheese, how you been, buddy?
I've been good. I've been very good. Preseason is going on right in the middle of preseason. Baseball's been insane. I'm enjoying sports right now. I've been good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, sir, but I feel like I can hear myself a lot more than I can hear you. You want to turn your mic up just a little bit, maybe? But to answer your question, I'm doing wonderful, and I couldn't wait till Tuesday night to be here with you. Stop staring at your microphone like that. You're like, what is wrong with this thing? Keep talking to me. Talk to me again.
Is that better?
No, not really. It's no. I mean, I can hear you. It's just soft, or maybe I'm just too darn loud. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm not sure. I turned it up, but
okay. Well, no, I mean, it's not like I can't hear you. I can hear you. You're just going to have to talk a little loud and a little long today. So, you're just going to have to do both.
I'll just start screaming.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I mean, there's some topics I might get a little grumpy. You know how I can get grumpy. So, we'll see.
We'll see, buddy. All right, we have a jam-packed show today, man. Lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Got a different logo behind me on the screen. If you didn't notice, we're on a football field now on that one behind me, and then we got the baseball one up here in the top right-hand corner. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, tell me which one you like better. Click on the comments, and we'll start there with the comments. So, tell me which of the two logos you like better, the football one behind me or the baseball one up in the top right-hand corner, or both. That's fine too. We can keep both of them. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
I vote both.
You vote both? Okay.
Yes, you vote both.
All right, we're already in the double digits, sir, so we're good. We're live, and before we get going too much, we'll do the intro, and then you just wait. I can't wait to do the Blazing 5 here in a minute. We'll get to all that here, but let's do that walk-up music first, shall we?
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining.
I like how she tells you how many seconds remaining.
5,
That's very helpful.
4.
Sounds like a Jane Fonda workout video, doesn't it?
2.
Luckily, without the Jane
1.
Fonda.
Stop that without the Jane Fonda stuff. You're going to get people saying we're racist and stop that. All right, sir, here we go. Another jam-packed episode of the Sportz Truth. We're going to do 4 questions about the 12 teams that were in last year's college football playoff. We're going to have a discussion about baseball and fundamentals. I think this will be a really good conversation between the two of us. Are analytics taking the place of fundamentals? That'll be the question that we'll answer before it is all said and done. We will talk Bengals and Trey. We'll talk Bengals and another guy. Well, that one will be a secret till later. We'll talk about the Bears and Caleb Williams, not Wilson. And then we'll talk about the Cowboys and Micah, of course. I can't even get his name right. He's so insignificant right now. So we'll also talk about Deion Sanders, year 3 in Colorado. What is it going to bring? We'll discuss baseball realignment. I can't wait to do that one at the end of our baseball segment here in just a little bit. He's has put together a realignment that he likes. I'm not sure if I like it, but he likes it. So we'll discuss it. We're also going to talk Urban Meyer, Kyle Tucker, the Washington Commanders, Patel Marte, the Tennessee Titans, the Florida Gators, the Cincinnati Reds, the UFL, and of course, we'll do the Truth Top 10. And we'll start this jam-packed episode of the Sportz Truth with the first Flamin' 5 in 5. And then, as I said earlier, if you cut us on Twitter out there at the 643 and Out Pod, we're going to let this lead us into our burning question. So we're going to go Flamin' 5, and then that's going to lead us into the burning question. Is that a little bit better? I was sounding like there was an echo. Was there an echo? And this is what I'm doing now better, buddy?
I don't hear an echo. Can you hear me better now?
Actually, I can hear you better now. Yes.
You can hear me better now? Okay.
Yeah, see, that's all you needed was a little bit of time, a little bit of adjustment, buddy, and we're good.
I've been kind of fiddling with this, so hopefully it's better. Okay.
Oh, I completely and totally understand. I'm kind of right up on this microphone too. That was one of the things that I got some feedback off of, is that I'm not always close enough to the mic to where you can hear, but I just assumed my big mouth made up for it. So I don't know, maybe not. We'll see.
So Mike has trouble with the mic.
Mike has trouble with the mic. Yes.
Ironic.
Well, you are just astute today, man. I'm telling you what.
Hey, just wait till I do all my shameless plugs, because they're coming.
Oh, I can't wait. I know they're coming. Oh, man. All right. So let's start off. So we're going to do this a little bit different, everybody. Let me explain this to you and to Cheese, because Cheese doesn't know what the heck we're doing either. But hey, that's the way the show works, right? So we're going to do 5 questions that Cheese has no idea what's coming, right? And then we kept saying, well, what are we going to do as a reward for Cheese if he actually makes it through all 5 questions?
Unlikely.
In the 5 minutes. And I figured out what the reward is going to be. He's going to get to talk more. He's going to like that. So if you get all 5 questions
accurate,
I don't care if they're accurate. It's your opinion, sir. You can be wrong. That's okay. Trust me, people will tell you in the comments if you're wrong. I'm sure they will. So you're going to do 5 questions in 5 minutes. And on that last question, if you can get them all done, then we'll do more on the final question. And let me tell you today, I don't know if you saw the tweet, but you need to be aggressive. And then we'll talk more about that last question. There's your hint. We'll talk a little more about that last question if you get them all done in 5. All right. Okay. So first, we'll start the music. All right. So I will read you the first question. Then I'll put the timer up here. Tell you what, I'll go ahead and put the timer up here, but I'll move it back here to where it starts at 5. Well, it's not, maybe. Hang on. There we go. I got to keep my finger on it, I guess. Okay. So, Titans quarterback Cam Ward said, if my dad could get up at 4:30 every morning and go to work at a job he didn't like, then I can surely get up at 5 a.m. to do a job that I love, like playing football. So, Cheese, with an attitude like that, is Cam Ward going to make it in the NFL?
I loved hearing that. I really respect Cam Ward's dad. I respect the heck out of him. Imagine getting up that early. You get up so early, Mike. You work hard. You get up earlier than anyone I know, actually. But you hear that alarm and you just don't want to get up. It's so early, And to do that over and over to, support your family, it's amazing. And it sounds like Cam Ward understands that. He understands what his dad went through. And I love that. I was a little worried about Cam Ward when he quit at halftime of the bowl game after he got the record, the NCAA record. Yeah. And I was a little worried. But ever since then, like the whole process, the offseason, training camp, I've only heard positive. So I'm not really worried right now. Maybe I should have had him a little higher on my board, a draft board. We'll see. I still think he throws way too many turnover-worthy plays. But I think so. There are a lot of interceptions, a lot of touchdowns, but a lot of interceptions as a rookie. But I love hearing that.
All right. Well, I tell you what, man, we're going to get to it here in a little bit. But the last thing we'll do is our Truth Top 10. And it'll be who we think are going to be the offensive rookies of the year this year. We'll count down those from 10 to 1, and I'm thinking Cam Ward will be in there somewhere for each of us. It'll be interesting to see exactly where. Here we go with question number 2, sir. What do you make of this stat? Since July 4th, the Dodgers have a record of 15-22, and in the same span, again since July 4th, the Rockies have a record of 16-22. What do you make of that?
I think the Rockies are overachieving, and because that's way too good for them because they're terrible. But the Dodgers are a total mess, and people are talking about the Cubs, but the Cubs are like 25-25 the last 50 games. They're 500. Yes, they're not good, but they're at least average. But the Dodgers are a total mess. The Mets are a total mess, and I think the Dodgers still somehow are in first place, but you and I agree. We think the Padres are going to pass them, but Dodgers fans should be concerned.
All right, so we're going to get you here to number 3. We better hurry this up. 3, 4, and 5 yet, buddy. This one is for Ricky Logan and Robert Strauss of the Red Hot Reds podcast. The Cincinnati Reds are the only team that have not been swept in a series all season, but they're 17, 20, and 3 in those series. So they actually have a losing record in those series, yet they have a winning overall record. So which one is more impressive to you? The fact that they have not been swept in a series, or the fact that they've lost more series than they've won, but they still have a winning record?
Not being swept is pretty awesome. I think that's more impressive. Just it's tough when you lose the first 2 games of the series. And I'm sure they've rallied. Like, they find a way to, at least win 1 game. I think that's really impressive. And if they sneak in the playoffs, they're one of those teams. I don't think they're great, but they're probably a little better than their record. So they're sneaky. I don't want to play them in the playoffs if they get in.
Okay. Let's stick with baseball for a second more. Since the All-Star break, these 5 teams have the 5 worst records in Major League Baseball. And at the All-Star break, all 5 of them were in the playoff conversation. The New York Mets are 11-16. Tampa Bay has been 11-17, as well as the Twins. St. Louis is 10-18, and San Francisco is a paltry 8-19. Will any of those 5 teams make the playoffs?
No. Wow. You're asking if the Giants will make the playoffs?
Well, no, the Giants, they won't make the playoffs. The Twins are way out of it. The Cardinals are falling fast. Tampa Bay has an outside shot, but what about the New York Mets? You're also saying the Mets are not going to make the playoffs?
Right now, it's not. No, I don't think so. Honestly, the Mets are playing so bad. I don't think so. But they're by far the only team on the list that have a chance. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
But probably not.
All right. So we're actually going to get it in here. I will ask you the question. Here we go. We got 30 seconds, buddy. You are the GM of a football team. Do you allow or hire male cheerleaders?
No, never. College, yes, only if they lift them up and do the megaphone. But what New England and Minnesota has done is just going to alienate the fan base. It has nothing to do with football. It's a terrible idea. Done and seen.
Yes, look at you. And even got a couple of seconds left. I'll tell you what. All right, so that means that you and I are going to talk about this last topic here for a moment, because I've got a few more questions I need to ask you about it. I'm going to see if I can convince you that maybe it is the right thing to do. So here we go. If the Packers hired male cheerleaders, would you vacate the team and never follow them again, or would you still stay a Packers fan?
Packers don't even have cheerleaders, so they can't. They have 0 cheerleaders. But no.
I mean, would you lose your fandom because there's a guy or 2 on the sidelines waving pom-poms around?
They would not do that. It's a small town. It's a very conservative area of Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin is very conservative, MAGA, minus Madison and Milwaukee. You take away Madison, Milwaukee, it's a purple state because of those 2 cities. But no, they're run by a board. They don't have an owner. They know what they're doing. They know they'd alienate the fans, and that would. If they had cheerleaders, they wouldn't do it. But even if they did, to answer your question, because it threw me for a loop, I wasn't expecting it. I cannot stop being a Packer fan. I just can't.
Okay.
I bleed cheese.
So this is kind of my point here, and I was relatively certain you were going to say that. Okay.
Okay.
So do you agree that having male cheerleaders would actually attract more of the gay and lesbian community to that football team?
Possibly. But I think it's such a small amount. Typically, if you look at the, stats or the numbers, gay and lesbian people don't watch sports.
Well, they do the WNBA because they're throwing vibrating objects out there on the floor.
Should we do a segment on that on another show? Okay.
I don't want to do a segment on that. No, I do not.
Does Phoenix have a WNBA team, or have you been throwing objects on the floor, Mike? What have you been doing?
I don't have time to throw objects onto a worthless floor, but they do have a WNBA team. The Phoenix Mercury is out here, and actually they're making more. Honestly, they're making more money than the Suns are right now because they paid so much for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and everybody else. So their payroll is atrocious.
Yeah, the Bradley Beal thing worked out great for them.
It did. I was so happy when he came.
What were we talking about?
Well, here's the point that I'm trying to make to you. All right. So if you're not going to alienate the team, and as a business, if they can bring another demographic in, then I would say, therefore, if you won't stop watching it and they can bring in that other demographic, then isn't it a smart business decision to hire male cheerleaders?
Here's why it's not. It might bring in a small percentage that they say, okay, I feel represented. So let me, I'll support this team. I'll watch them or buy merchandise, but it's going to alienate, in my opinion, more. Typically football fans are not going to be pro LGBTQ, whatever. So
you just said it wouldn't alienate you. Are other people better or worse than you? Or?
Yes, I would not be happy with it, to be honest with you, but I'm such a diehard cheesehead. But the casual fan that doesn't agree with it, they're gone. The casual fan. You got to think about this. It's like movies. Mm-hmm. Hollywood is dying, and it's because they're trying to put messages in movies. It's all about the message instead of the story and the characters, which is what movies used to be about. And when they're questioned about it and the movie flops, they're like, well, we're trying to find new audiences. But you're losing the casual audience. You need people the casual person that goes to the movies every Friday, you're losing that. And that is what that's what I think will happen. So while it might gain a small percentage, I think you'll lose more.
Do you know who the first team was to ever introduce a male cheerleader, by the way?
Was it the Panthers?
The Rams. The Los Angeles Rams did it.
Okay.
And then let me ask you this. Do you know how many teams currently have male cheerleaders? And it's not just the two that you think.
Like 10 maybe?
12. 12 teams actually have male cheerleaders right now, including like some of these teams that are like supposed to be the tough teams. I mean, the Raiders don't have it, but the Baltimore Ravens have male cheerleaders. So, the Vikings, of course, are getting hammered for it right at the moment and everything else. So, yeah, I just personally, I don't care. It's not going to make me watch or not watch. It's not going to tick me off that much. And, I'm still of the mindset to where people can do and watch and see and go, where they want, who they want to see and all those kinds of things. So it wouldn't make me not watch it, but it's not going to make me watch it more either. So I'm gonna fall kind of somewhere in between, I guess.
Okay.
All right, buddy. So let's do college football. All right. I've decided to kind of rename this, but I'm not sure what I want to rename it. I didn't like the whole thing we did before, so I think I want to spread this around college football some and talk about all the different teams. So I like college football spread offense. What do you think?
That works for me.
All right. So maybe we'll keep it there. All right. So I'm gonna lean over this way a little bit so I make sure I get in this mic a little bit more. Maybe I'll scoot it. It's gonna make a noise here, and I apologize, but I'll scoot it this way just a tad. All right. let's do it this way. So when I turn, it's not so bad. So last year, sir, the 12 teams in the college football playoffs were Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, SMU, and Clemson. Those were the 12, all right? So Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, SMU, Clemson. How many of those 12 teams will not be in the college football playoff this season?
A lot of them will be. A lot of them will be. 4 or 5.
All right. So Oregon?
Yeah.
Yes. Georgia?
Yes.
Boise State?
Hell no. Yes,
No.
Genty's gone. He almost single-handedly beat Oregon. No way. The best player in the country is gone. Like, no.
They still have a decent team, though. I mean, I don't know. I think they have a shot. I think and it's not like there's any other great teams out there that are going to be in that division or anything.
I watched every single run Ashton Genty had last year.
Okay.
There were games that they would not have won without him, multiple games. And they
Well, that's
almost
true.
beat Oregon at Oregon. They lost by 3 points because
All right.
Oregon could not do anything with them. You cannot lose the best player in the country. And no.
Okay. How about Arizona State?
You know what? They did lose Cam Scatterbo.
Yes,
But
they did.
Sam Levitt, is that how you pronounce his name? Levitt?
Yeah. Sam Levitt. That's correct.
He's back. They didn't lose much.
No, they
Honestly,
really did.
yes. The
And
Big
they
12, someone's
reloaded
got to
it,
win the Big 12. Yeah,
Yeah, they
someone's
still
got to
got-
win the Big 12.
I got the really good receiver too that they had. They lost right before the playoffs last year. I wish I could remember his name, but I can't right offhand. I'll think of it in a minute. How about Texas?
Yeah, definitely.
Penn State,
Yes.
Notre Dame.
Probably because they don't play a hard schedule.
Okay, Ohio State. Yes, right.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
Tennessee.
No, unfortunately. I hope so, but they got a shot, but the SEC is tough. I said
do.
yes to Georgia, so I got to say no to Tennessee. I don't think both of them will make it.
All right, so you're saying the SEC is tough. So's the Big Ten. How about Indiana? Is it going to be? Or are they not going to make it this year?
I'm going to say no. They played such an easy schedule. They went up against one really good team and got killed, so they snuck in. So no for Indiana.
Okay. And then we got 2 more teams: SMU,
No chance.
Clemson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're going to win the ACC.
Okay. All right. So the top 5 teams, right? The teams that won their division and became the top 5 in the top 12: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, and Clemson. Do you think all 5 of those teams will be back in the playoffs this year? I'll rattle them off to you again: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, Clemson.
Everyone but Boise State, I would have in because, Arizona State. I think we'll talk more about them, as the season goes on. But the Big 12 was there for the taking last year, and they took it, and very unexpected. But I definitely could see them winning it again.
Right, and I think there's another team in the 12 in the Big 12. I'm sorry, that's an unexpected team this year, and it's going to give Arizona State a run. Next week is our college football playoff preview and prediction show. So it's a preview and a prediction show, both in the same thing. Cheese and I are going to do that next week, and then the week after, we're going to do the same thing with the NFL. This should be 2 really fantastic shows, and I'm really looking forward to both of them as we get closer and closer to the blood and the sweat and the tears on the gridiron, right?
Yeah, we'll each maybe go over a sleeper to make the playoff. I think we'll each pick a sleeper to kind of sneak in there. I think that'll be fun.
I like it. I like it a lot. Which conference will have the most teams in the college football playoff this coming year?
Probably the Big 10. It's either Big 10 or SEC. I think the SEC is deeper. So, like the 6-7 win teams in SEC can still beat the real good teams. And like no SEC team had a schedule like Indiana's. So I think the Big 10, while it's probably be better at the top. I don't think so. I think probably the Big Ten gets at least 4 again.
Okay. So, but I mean, I don't want to get too much into this because I do want to talk about some of this stuff next week as well. I just want to kind of tease everybody a little bit with some of this stuff here. But the SEC, they just kind of beat each other up, right? So I'm not sure who from the SEC can make it because of that. And then that's the same way with the Big Ten. They just kind of beat each other up. I mean, can Ohio State, Penn State, all of them from the same division make it? Can you go over to the other side and have UCLA, USC, let's see, I'm trying to think of another. Oregon, there we go.
But Indiana got in hardly playing any of those teams. I think they played Ohio State, but they didn't play Oregon. They didn't play Penn State. So they got in because of that. SEC, there's more depth. It's just not it wasn't as top heavy last year, and so it just makes it hard. Like Ole Miss lost 3 games. One of the teams that just missed it. I mean, they lost to Kentucky.
Sometimes you lose too, right?
Tennessee almost didn't make it because they lost to Arkansas. But the thing is, Kentucky can beat Ole Miss. Arkansas can beat Tennessee. It sounds crazy, but that's the way the SEC is. The middle part of the SEC, like I said, the 6-7 win teams, they can beat top 10 teams.
Yeah, so it's not always about who you. Well, I mean, it is sometimes about who you beat, and sometimes it's about who beats you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one bad loss, and that's all.
Alabama didn't make it. Yeah, Alabama, they missed it. They had some bad losses. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our second college football spread offense question here, which will be, what will year 3 bring for Deion Sanders? Will Colorado have a winning record? That's your first question, Cheese.
Probably not. I mean, they were the year before last. They were 4-8. Okay.
Yes.
And you lose one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and then you lose one of the best wide receivers in the country and one of the best cornerbacks in the country, same person. You also lose. This is what they lost: their top 4 wide receivers. LeJohntay Webster, believes on the Ravens. They lost him. Will Shepard, he's on the Packers. Jimmy Horn Jr., the team escapes me that he's on, but they lost their top 4 receivers and their quarterback and their best cornerback. It's going to be really tough. I don't know what Colorado has recruited behind it. I don't know if they got some transfers, but
they did.
It's still going to be tough to
quarterback coming in.
It's still going to be tough to win more than 6 games. Like 500 would probably be at best, in my opinion, but you never know with the Big 12 because it's
right.
A team like Arizona State can do what they did last year. Of course, they end up having a lot better players than people thought, but I just think it's going to be tough to go from. I think the Colorado is 8-4 for them to have a like 7-5, losing Travis Hunter. I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, and that's fine. So Deion just turned 58 years old, and he had bladder cancer surgery. So will those 2 things kind of slow him down, you think, this year?
I mean, it's not going to speed him up, and he's probably going to have to rely more on his assistants. That's just a guess. I don't know Deion. He's done a good job there, but it has to affect it somehow. So he's probably relying more on his assistants. What do you think?
I mean, this is going to be an interesting year for Colorado because they how far can they bounce back? That's the big question. I mean, I think people would be happy with a 500 record from Deion this year, knowing what he's got. But then can he grow that 500 record next year into a couple games over? And then can he grow it the third year with those same guys to a few more games over? So I'm not necessarily going to hold him to the fire as far as this year goes, but I am going to hold him to the fire to see if he can improve this year's team that we don't think is going to be real great and see if he can motivate them. Because in my mind, Deion's not the best coach in the world, but what he is really good at is motivation.
Right.
So can he motivate, we'll say, lackluster players to give him above average results?
Yeah. And if he recruits and he gets transfers, you got to have the talent too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you think he's going to be the same coach now that neither of his sons are playing for him? Is he going to be the same guy? Is he going to be as intensive? Is he going to be as motivational? Or are we going to hear as much from Deion because he's not pushing for his kids to be high in the draft?
He could be even more. He could go even more because he knows his kids. These other kids, he doesn't know them as well. He might, despite the diagnosis and all that, he might even, work harder or at least try to motivate more. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think he'll be fine in that aspect.
All right, let's wrap it up with something that's probably going to be a year or two away. Let's see what we can predict here. So currently, his record at Colorado is 13-12. Okay. So does he get to 25 wins first or 25 losses first?
Let's be optimistic. Let's say he gets to 25-24. 25. Yeah, maybe not this year, but maybe the next year. Maybe he recruits. He's still a big name. He's one of the best corners to ever play the game. He's a big name. So maybe he recruits, gets transfers. So I'll say wins. What do you think?
Well, I mean, so let me give you a couple of follow-ups here. So, I mean, is Colorado a desirable school in a desirable division? I mean, is the Big 12 something that people are going to be like, yes, I want to go to the Big 12 and play football? Is Boulder a place that people want to live?
Well, I'll say this about
those or no.
It's not a great high school football state. It's nothing like Texas, Louisiana. I mean, it's just not. And they did, I believe they won a national title back like 35, 40 years ago.
Yeah, I believe they won one. Yes.
Yeah. They recruited nationally then. So you have to recruit nationally. You have to recruit other states. So it's harder. LSU is going to get, 10, 12 guys from Louisiana every year. Texas is going to get 10, 12 guys from Texas every year just because they're in that state. So it's harder. So he has just got to just really recruit and and he's got to get transfers. He's got to really hit the transfer portal.
Yeah. So he's got to go NIL. He's got to convince people to come out and be with him. So, but we said it earlier, at least I said it earlier, and I think you shook your head and agreed with me. In my opinion, Deion Sanders is one of the best motivators in any sport. So I think if anybody can convince a player and their parents to come be with him, I think it's Deion. So, I'll give him a big edge there, but I'm not sure how desirable the entire package is I guess what I'm getting at. So I think it'll be interesting to see exactly what he can get and then how well those kids that he gets perform for him. So it'll be interesting. All right. The last question that we're going to do here in our college football spread offense is about Urban Meyer. And I saw where the AD came out for Florida. The Florida Gators athletic director came out and was talking about Urban Meyer. So here's my question. Should Urban Meyer be placed into the Florida Gator Ring of Honor? We're going to 4 questions based upon that main question. All right. I see you smiling over there. So in coaching, Cheese.
Yes.
In coaching, Cheese, what means more? Recruiting, motivating, or the X's and O's of the game?
So we haven't actually discussed our opinion. We've never talked, you and me, about Urban Meyer.
Nope. No, we've not.
So we both have an opinion, so we don't know each other's opinion on Urban Meyer. So this should be interesting.
All right, let's do it.
Well, you have to recruit. I mean, you have to have. I think recruiting is number one. You have to have the talent. So yes, you can find hidden gems here and there, but if you don't recruit, look at Alabama. Alabama had not been from like mid 90s to mid like 2000, like 96 to 2006, something like that. They had become a 6-7 win team. They had dropped off, and Nick Saban came in and recruited the crap out of it, and it completely changed the program. So it has to start with recruiting. So I'll say that the other two are very important, no doubt about it. But I would give the edge to recruiting. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm going to give the edge to the X's and O's, because if you recruit semi-standard, players, and you draw up good plays, and you put, and you have a good scheme and all this kind of thing, I think the X's and O's can can overcome not necessarily bad recruiting, but they can overcome average recruiting and make them above average recruits. So I'm going to go with the X's and O's part. And then I think that's funny that I wanted to kind of combine that with Dion, because we said he's a great motivator, but neither one of us are saying motivation is one of the top things here, as we gave you, the three were motivation and X's and O's and recruiting. And neither one of us picked motivation. So
no, I would have put X's and O's second. So motivation's great. And I think X's and O's is actually even more important in college than pros, because professionals, they've been playing football all their lives. They're older, so they know how to read plays. Whenever college kids they're going to class, or they're supposed to be, and so you're more reliant on the coaches, the coordinators watching film, and to relay the information. Okay, X's and O's type stuff. So it is important, but yeah, it's a close second to me. But yeah, in my opinion, you have to have recruiting.
Okay, so I'm going to rattle off some of his great accomplishments at Florida, and you're going to tell me which one you think is the best, okay?
Okay.
So, which is more impressive? Oh, wait a minute. Which cup you got today, buddy?
Oh, the Spidey.
Oh, the Spidey Cup again.
Spidey. Orange Spidey, yes.
Orange Spidey today. Okay. So, which is more impressive? The 65-15 overall record, the 13-1 seasons that he had, or the 36-12 record that he had against the SEC. So I'll give them to you again. Is it the 65-15 overall record while he was there at Florida, the 3 seasons that he had where he was 13-1, or is it the 36-12 record that he had against the SEC opponents?
They're all impressive. That's hard for me to decide.
We got 3 more after this, so
that's tough. I'm trying to look up year by year, like his 6 years, like what his record was each year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not finding it. Like Google's just not working for me now. But 36-12 in the SEC is like it's next to impossible. 13-1. 13-1. God. I'm going to say a 3-way tie.
A 3-way tie. You stop trying to skate out of questions here.
Okay, here we go.
You got almost 50 people yearning for you to make it to make an answer here, to make a call, and you got you're over here skirting by.
So you went 9-3, 13-1, 9-4, 13-1, 13-1, and then 8-5. So I'm going to say the 36-12. What about you?
Oh man, I think 13-1. You go a season and only lose a game, especially in the SEC, right? And he went 3 of his 6 seasons there where he only lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, when he gets there, they're not his players. So he didn't do great in that first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then as he started getting his own players and his own recruits in there, then is when he really took off. And he did decent with somebody else's players. So I like the 13-1.
Exactly.
Okay.
That'll actually, what you just said, I know what you're going to ask next. That will, I had a point about that, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. For those of you who are going, what do you mean he knows what he's going to ask next? Well, we exchange notes over some of these questions. Now, the first flaming 5-5 we don't do, and then there's a few things that I'm going to throw in here as we go along that Cheese doesn't know anything about, and that's the beauty of being able to produce and write the show and everything else. So, but for the most part, I want Cheese to be prepared, and just wait till we get to the NFL, because Cheese wrote everything in the NFL except for the very first question that we're going to go over, and Cheese wrote the rest of it. So, we'll get to all that here in just a second. So here's 3 more things. And I want you to see which one of these is more impressive than that Urban Meyer did while he was in Florida. 5 bowl wins in 6 seasons. 29 players selected to the NFL draft, or 8 first-round NFL draft selections. So here's your 3. 5 bowl wins in 6 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
29 players overall selected to the NFL draft in his 6 years there, or 8 first-round NFL draft selections in the 6 years that he was there.
5 to 6 bowl wins. It's tough to win bowl games every year. Even if you're not in the championship game, he lost the Capital One Bowl in 2007. But I mean, there's some unbelievable teams that are like, struggle in bowl games. And so I think that's the most impressive. What do you think?
See, I would have put that last. I like the fact that he had 29.
He didn't recruit all those players, though. He didn't recruit all those. So that's why I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that I didn't think of. But still, you're coaching players, and you get almost 30 players in 6 years to go to the NFL. That's impressive. And they were actually drafted. They weren't undrafted. None of them were undrafted. They were all drafted. So 29 drafted players to the NFL.
In 6 years, Ohio State gets 29 players like every other year now. But nowadays.
All right, buddy. So let's wrap it up with this, because we have to wrap this up and put a bow on it, because it's going to be interesting to see what our opinions are of Urban Meyer here. So does all of these accolades outweigh all the problems that he had off the field?
I don't think people remember the accolades as much. And I'll say this, when he went to Florida, had amazing recruiting class right before he left. Well, he was like, Ron Zook he lost games that he should. That was his problem. His problem was not recruiting. He recruited so well. And Urban Meyer inherited that. You mentioned, well, he got his own guys. He did with other guys. But, his second year he won the national title. Those were Ron Zook's players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Urban Meyer is one of the most overrated coaches ever. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's this amazing coach. And I think he used Ron Zook's players to win a national title. And toward the end of his Florida career, his last year he was 8-5. All of a sudden he had some kind of like heart issue, and he didn't recruit behind it. And Florida suffered for years after that.
Yes.
Because he didn't recruit behind those national championship teams. And then then all of a sudden a year later, I can coach Ohio State. I'm not sick anymore. And he does well at Ohio State. And then Ohio State starts to drop off a little. I got to retire again. And he left them kind of not in the best situation, but he inherited a great situation. Jim Tressel got a lot of flack there, but he recruited well. He inherited another really good team. So yes, he won national titles in his second year of Florida, his third year at Ohio State. He didn't recruit almost all those players, all the key players, most of them he did not recruit. I think he's overrated. And at Jacksonville Jaguars, that showed me that he was a terrible coach. The players couldn't stand him. The NFL is when you really show, because you can't recruit. You have to actually coach the players. You have to be a leader. And he was an absolute disaster. It might be the worst coaching hire in NFL history. I mean, top 5 for sure. And I think he inherited 2 really good programs and 2 really good situations. So I'm not a big fan of Urban Meyer.
Okay.
What do you think of him?
I'm not a huge fan of Urban Meyer. I think a lot of what you said is true, that he inherited a lot of good players. And I really didn't like that I would say he left Ohio State better than he left Florida State.
True.
I had to stop a second. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I can hear the dogs tearing into each other. So I was trying to just, do I just slap the headphones off and run in there real fast, or do I hang out a minute? So
okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's not. All right. So when all that goes on, yes, I agree with you, but I also think that you sort of said it, but you didn't say it. He is a pretty good X's and O's guy, because he took talent that he didn't recruit and made them into champions. So I think he should get at least some credit for that. This question is, should he go into the Florida State Ring of Honor? Or, I'm sorry, the Florida Gators Ring of Honor. This is not what he did at Ohio State, and this is not the debacle that was Jacksonville, because that was an absolute debacle. So if we base it on just what he did at Florida with an average quarterback in Tim Tebow at best, right?
You mean a fullback that threw the ball occasionally? A real
Yes.
athletic fullback that every once in a while threw the ball and won a Heisman? Yes. Oh, you made a good point, though. You made a really good point. He won a national title with Tim Tebow, one of the best players in the country, a really tough player to scheme against. It's like Gene Chin national title because he had Cam Newton. Really tough player to scheme against, really tough player. So sometimes one like elite player can help you. So anyway.
Yeah, so maybe the players were better than the coach, and the coach just rode the players' coattails. And, it's not like that's the first time that's ever happened. So.
Yeah. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's a good college coach. I just don't think he's as great as ever. And I'm Florida. The situation he left them in, I would not put him in the Ring of Honor, but I get why they are, because he did win.
Well, I mean, they're doing it for ticket sales and all kinds of other stuff too. I mean, come on,
of course.
Let's be real here, right?
And Florida's not been relevant for a while, but they might actually be pretty good this year.
Okay, we'll talk about that some more next week too when we do our college football preview and prediction show. So that'll be fantastic. I'm going to take just a moment because I saw these stats, and I want to present these stats to you. This is one of these things, ladies and gentlemen, that I did not send Cheese over these stats. All right. So here we go. The UFL to the NFL.
Okay.
Here we go, Cheese. NFL teams have conducted 160 workouts, including 90 individual UFL players. 50-plus players from the UFL have signed with NFL teams this offseason. The Lions, just by themselves, have signed 8 former UFL players. Every team has at least one player that has signed a deal with them. And then just so everybody, yourself and everybody else knows, that if they don't make the NFL team and they're a free agent next year, each one of those players gets to go back to their original UFL team. So I just have one question, and we'll get off this subject, but I saw the numbers and thought this would be a little interesting to ask, knowing what you do on Football with Cheese. See there, I got the first plug in for you shamelessly over on your YouTube site.
Beat me to it.
I know it. I got you. I kept going. I'm going to get him. So do you think that the UFL is doing its job feeding players to the NFL?
I think the UFL, it's a second chance league. Some players, for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. And maybe they're just not ready. Maybe they're super talented and, they weren't in a good college program, or it was just too fast for them and they need to take a step back. So it's just an opportunity for players. So I don't think it's necessarily the league, UFL doing something right. I think it's just, everyone wants to win the NFL. So they're going to watch the UFL and find the standout and see, did we miss on this guy? And certainly Brad Holmes, the general manager of the Lions, obviously puts a much bigger emphasis on the UFL than other teams.
You think that's going to bite him, though? Is he going to have too many of those? Okay, so let me ask it to you this way.
There's no downside. Just sign them. You have 90-man roster in the offseason. There's no downside. If you have extra spots on your roster, I don't think there's a downside. I actually kind of like that. I think it's a smart move.
Okay.
Lions are very well run.
Let me ask her.
Lions are a very well-run organization. That's crazy to say because for 30 years before, they were terribly run, but they have been really well run the last 4 or 5 years.
All right. So we are going to go into the NFL side here. Going to put a little bit of music on in the background, and we're going to go over to Cheese because, again, here for a second. Let me get to my notes, if you would please, sir, and then we will go from there. All right, buddy. Whenever you're ready, you go right ahead.
Okay. You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think the music's messing with you so let's turn it off. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
Do you want to talk Trey Hendrickson?
I want to talk everything. Yeah, but let's talk Trey Hendrickson. Let's start it with that.
So Trey Hendrickson, star defensive end, edge rusher for the Bengals. It's been a whole offseason story. They're at an impasse. Obviously, he wants more money or more guaranteed money. We don't know the ins and outs. And sounds like both sides are stuck. They're not willing to give an inch. And now the Bengals are listening to offers. There's a rumor before the draft they were listening but wanted like way more than any team was willing to give, like not even close. Okay. So now the Bengals are kind of stuck because I think basically two reasons. They've lost leverage. If most teams have filled their edge rusher need either free agency or the draft since then. And now they know they pretty much have to trade him because they're not going to extend him. So there might only be 2 or 3 teams that are really interested. What do you think about this situation?
Okay, so I probably have a different opinion on this than you do. I was raised right outside of Cincinnati, so much like you're a big Packers fan, I'm a big Bengals guy. But I live here in Arizona now, so I support the team of the state in which I live. So I have it on pretty good authority that Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals they know how many years they want to go, and both sides have agreed to that. They know how much overall money that they're going to give, but that the contract is going to be, and both sides have agreed to that. What they're fighting over, and what Trey wants a lot, and the Bengals don't want to give him a whole lot, is the fact of how much of the money is going to be guaranteed. So I feel pretty good that they've worked out 2 of the 3 parts of the contract. One of them is going to have to blink. And the other thing is this, buddy. We've talked about this 2 or 3 times on this show. I really want to tell Trey, I understand what Trey's doing, but I also want to look at him and be like, shut up and play, Trey. Honor your contract. He still has this year left. And within your dissertation there, you said that you don't think the Bengals are going to extend him. Well, here's the thing. They don't have to do it right now. He's got another year in that contract. I don't like this. I don't like any of these guys who are trying to hold the team hostage and try to get more money. Shut your mouth, play out your contract, and we'll go from there. And that's I honestly think that's what the Bengals are saying. They're saying, okay, if you will agree to our terms, then sure, we'll sign you long term, but you're going to have to agree to our terms in order for it to be done before this contract is up.
Let me take Trey Hendrickson's side on this for a second.
Okay.
He's coming off an unbelievable season, led the league in sacks, 17 and a half. I don't think he's an elite player. I think he's a very good player. He's not like Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, but he's a very good player. And this is his opportunity to get paid. He could get hurt this season. He could play out the contract, get hurt, and never get paid. And this is his opportunity. And the fact that he wants an extension means he does want to stay with the Bengals. He is not demanding he has not demanded a trade that I know of. No, he is not. Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin have. He is not. So he wants to stay with the Bengals. He just wants to be rewarded. He saw T. Higgins, Jamar Chase get paid, and he said, I'm as important as those guys. Like he wants to stay there, and he wants an extension. He's not asking for more guaranteed money just on this year. So I understand where he's coming from. And I just don't understand the Bengals, what they're doing. And their defense was terrible with him. It was a terrible defense last year with him. And you mentioned guaranteed money. They tried to haggle with Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick, on guaranteed money. Like the Bengals, it's like they're just creating a mess where they don't need to. If you use a first-round pick on a guy, you should not be trying to haggle over guaranteed money. You should just give him 4 years guaranteed. If you use a first-round pick, that's what other teams do. So I get what you're saying. You want to play out the contract. You signed it. Fine. But it's the Bengals. It's not necessarily, the player. It's the way the Bengals do business. And so I completely understand where Hendrickson's going through. And my question for you is, if they trade him, what's their defense going to be like?
And they're not trading him. All right, let's get that out of the way. I know that we had kind of talked over text, and it's like, okay, come up with like 3 or 4 teams that he can go to and he'll be a good fit with. And I can't come up with one because I honestly, and it's not just me being the homer for the Bengals. They're not trading him. They know what their defense would be like without him, and they just spent a absolute ton of money on their offense. Can't let Trey Hendrickson go. He's at least going to play out this contract, and then they're going to trade him in the offseason, and they'll get one high draft pick and one medium type draft pick, and then try to get a couple of edge rushers. I mean, I will give it to you. In your latest episode, I'm going to do this twice before you do it. On your latest episode,
I was about to do it, but go ahead. Yes.
on your latest episode of your latest video over on at Football with Cheese, you talk about the fact that I just lost my train of thought. So you got me all. What did you talk about with him? Daggone it, you made me lose my train of thought. I'm old.
With Trey Hendrickson?
Yes.
Yeah, basically just what I said. He wants a new deal. He just wants to be rewarded for what he's played. He played amazing last year.
I remember where I was going. I got it. You were saying that if they traded him before the draft, they could have gotten a high draft pick and then probably a secondary pick for him. Well, now they can't do that, right? The draft's over and yada, yada, yada. They're not going to get, and you're 100% right on this, they are not going to get value today like they could have gotten before the draft. Absolutely. So that means they don't trade him today. They're going to trade him. They're going to wait till the offseason and then trade him.
Right. They could have extended him before the free agency started, and they would have paid him probably less than he's asking now. Once Myles Garrett got $40 million a year, that pretty much upped the market. But they didn't want to extend him then. This is what teams do. Cowboys do this too. We don't want to pay you that. We don't think you're worth that or whatever. And they really, if they were going to trade him, they had to do it for the draft because they needed the draft capital this year to replace him because the defense is not good. It was one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. I think it will be better this year, but I don't know how much better. But that's when you need to trade him. And now if you trade him now for future draft picks, your defense is losing its only really good player. Let's be honest. Right. There's no other player on the defense you can say, oh, he's really good. So I just don't think the Bengals have handled this well. So last question about this situation. So Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin, wide receiver of Washington, they're both 29 years old. So is this the reason? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see, look at that.
That was a question I had, the exact question I had. You're ready. You're on the ball, Mike.
Because I copied and pasted it off your notes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, what do you think? Is 29 to teams are hesitant to pay 29-year-olds? Is that too old?
Okay, so let's take this a few steps at a time, right? Let's kind of dissect this a little bit. So you mentioned Myles Garrett, you mentioned T.J. Watt. Is Trey Hendrickson is not as good as those guys, right? In your mind, no?
He's not. I think he's one notch down. I think he's very good. I don't think he's elite, but I think he's a very good player. Yeah.
All right, so that's the first knock, right? You're not going to give him $40 million a year because he's not a $40 million a year player. So you're going to drop him down to like 30, maybe 32.
Maybe 34, 35. Something, yeah, but definitely not 40, no.
Okay. And I would say it's got to be more than 32. So it's probably going to be in that 32 to 34 range.
Probably.
All right. So at 29 years old, though, I mean, I think he's got a choice to make here. You can either get a longer term extension to where you don't get 30. You get maybe we'll pay you 34 and then we're going to drop you down to 30 and then we're going to sign you for the next 2 years at 25 with some escalators or something like that. Or you can go, okay, we're going to give you a 2-year contract and we'll give you, 2 years at 68 or 2 years at 70 even. But 2 years is all we're going. So if we're going to pay you, it's going to be short term. And if we're not going to pay you as much, then I'll go the longer term. And I would love to know right now where he falls into that category, because this is one of the better questions you've come up with so far doing this NFL thing. I love this 29-year-old question. because I was thinking about this as a GM, right? Yeah, 29 is almost 30. And you know, I don't know about you, but I'm well over 30. And I know how the body's
well.
Thanks. And I know how the so I know how the body begins to break down later on in life, right? And I'm kind of with Cincinnati, and I'm kind of with Washington. I'm not giving you okay. So I'll put it to you this way: I'm not paying you beyond 35.
Sure.
No way.
Sure.
You know, we've seen that Albert Pujols' contract. We've seen Josh Hamilton's contract. We've seen some of these, not necessarily NFL guys, because I think a lot of the GMs know that they can't pay them for that long. But these baseball guys have made tons of mistakes, and we've just seen it blow up on them. I'm not even sure if I'm giving Trey Henderson more than like a 4-year deal at max.
What was
And
that?
it's not because I don't like the guy; it's just business.
What was that Washington Nationals third baseman that signed with the Angels? They gave him this huge deal, and he just checked out. It's like the word. It's you don't even remember his name because he's never done anything the last 4 or 5 years. Like as soon as he got paid, he checked out. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I 100% do.
He was such a good player. But anyway, here's the problem with the 2 years, $70 million. You might not have the cap room for it. So a lot of teams, Anthony Rendon. What are the Angels? They get the worst contracts. They somehow get the worst contracts. Hamilton, right? Hamilton, Pujols, and Rendon were all Angels, right?
Yes, they were.
That's why they stink every year.
Like the Cowboys.
My phone was blowing up. I think people were texting me Anthony Rendon. I think my phone just started blowing up.
That's okay.
Okay. Yes, that is good. And also got Braves win. So, well, playing the White Sox, I hope so. But you had mentioned 2 years, $7 million.
Couldn't beat the Rockies over the weekend, so
it's time. Diamondbacks, it's time to look toward the draft. But
yes,
you mentioned 2 years, $70 million. The problem with that, if you have the cap room, it's smart, but some teams don't, so they need 4 or 5 year deals to push it out. And what teams a lot of times do is try to structure a contract with not a lot of guaranteed money, and backload the contract so you're not actually getting the money. And obviously agents and players know they're doing that. So that's a lot of times when contracts break down, teams are trying to do that. Not a lot of guaranteed money. And then like the 4th year of the deal, you have like a $39 million cap number, and it's like 20 something before then. And then we just release you or restructure. So that is done quite a bit for teams that are really up against the cap. So you can't necessarily always do 2 years, $70 million, but I just think, yes, Trey Hendrickson, if you give him like a 5-year deal, will he be as good at 32 and 33? Probably not. But by then you can release him. Maybe you take some kind of cap hit, but you can release him. But you are hurting your team now the next couple of years if you have to trade him. And the Bengals,
I just looked it up. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying the Bengals have one of the best offenses in the NFL. They have an incredible offense. They are so good. It's one of the best. It might be the best offense in the NFL. It's that good. So they need to win now. So,
and they've got another up and coming receiver we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes at the end of this football section too. But just so you know, let me go back to it. According to, let's see here, let me get the right account so we give them credit. According to SportTrack.com, the Cincinnati Bengals have an additional $28.8 million in this year's cap.
So they can take. So you need 13 to 15 million of cap. I know a lot of people might not know this for in-season moves. People get hurt, so you need 13 to 15 million. But that means they have 13 to 15 million. They could put on this year's cap, give him, and help spread it out. So there's no excuse for not getting Hendricks a deal done. You're right. It's guaranteed money. He wants probably 3 years guaranteed is my guess. I don't know for sure. And they're like, wait, you're 29. Yeah, we don't want to do that. But the way the Bengals handle it and the PR, they don't handle it well.
Yeah, but if you give him 3 years and let's say 3 years, 80 or 85, something like that, right? And then you guarantee him 50 of the 85, don't you think that's fair?
Yeah, but his agent's probably not going to think so.
Well, you need to be his agent, sir.
Yeah,
because I'm tired of this. We need to get this deal done.
So what agents do is they take other contracts and they say, okay, this person got this. We want at least close to this. Okay, this is Watt's deal. This is Garrett. We're not asking for as much, but we want the same percentage of guaranteed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they play contracts off each other. Once someone gets paid as a highest paid player position, changes everything. So
of course,
yeah. And edge rushers, because of the Garrett contract, have spiked. So it's definitely made it harder. And same thing with Jamar Chase. The Bengals paid him. That's probably hurting Terry McLaurin in Washington because I'm sure Washington doesn't want to pay him more than $30 million a year. But if the best receiver's getting 40, Terry McLaurin should ask for 32, 33. I would if I was his agent.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. But I thought the 29 thing was pretty interesting because it's almost 30. And I think if nothing else, you're going to get a short-term deal when you're 29. So I think it's pretty fair to say that Hendrickson was a late bloomer, right? He wasn't great in the beginning. So
he wasn't
now
that great for the Saints. Yeah.
Right. And most people probably don't even realize that he was ever with the Saints. Most people just realize that he was with the Bengals. So
it was one of the best free agent signings in recent memory. You know?
Well, they got lucky. Let's not call it skill. They got lucky.
Well, it's still a great signing. Yeah.
All right, buddy. So what else you got for us? I know you got more stuff, man.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Jerry Jones. I don't know if you saw the video. If anyone hasn't seen it, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he basically said he wants the Cowboys to be a soap opera. Don't watch them. 365 days a year. Oh, there you go. Okay. And it sounds like he cares more about the celebrity, the attention of the Dallas Cowboys, and winning is not as important. So the question there that you have on the screen, do you think it's more financial or drawing attention? What do you think about Jerry Jones?
Well, first of all, Jerry Jones is an idiot. Let's just get that out of the way. He can't run a football team. He's just a rich old man that has so much money. It's why you and I haven't made a whole lot of money, because we don't have any money, right? You have to have money to make money. I mean, I've said it for years. Our fans out there will give you a little bit of peek behind the curtain. We're working on a few things kind of behind the scenes. We're not really ready to announce them yet, but hopefully it'll be something that all of us can enjoy. I'll tell you this. I wasn't sure if I was going to say anything or not, but I'll go ahead and say it. I know we've been plugging me for the Diamondbacks, the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. I ended up leaving that and leaving it on good terms. Both of us were fine with how it was settled. But I've decided that I want to not be a part of something in the sports world. I want to make something in the sports world. So I think myself and Cheese, and we got a few other people kind of behind the scenes that are working on some stuff. And I think we can do that before it's all said and done. So I'm excited about this new adventure, and we'll announce things as we actually get them put together. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, as the old man over here says.
And you work a ton of hours, so we have more time to work on it. So yeah,
right. So
you were exhausted. You were exhausted, so I'm happy for you.
So putting that into consideration, yes, he loves the attention. He even said it, right? Adam Schefter called him P.T. Barnum the other day on some of the ESPN programmings. Yeah, he loves the circus. He brings the circus to town everywhere he goes. He cares more about the attention, in my opinion, than he does winning games. And as a fan of that team, that would make me so frustrated. Again, I'm going to plug your spot. You said in the latest edition of your video that he needs to step away and his son needs to hire somebody who can actually run a team, a GM that would come in there and knows how to make moves and knows how to construct a team, because Jerry doesn't. Jerry just plays with the media and then pays them at the end.
Yeah. He does a press conference after every game. When I heard those comments, it just made me think that he could have gotten a deal with Micah Parsons done, that maybe he purposely has drawn this out because people are talking at the Cowboys. He did it with CeeDee Lamb, took all off season. He did with Dak Prescott, took all of season, and he paid them both way more than he could have if he had paid them a year before, extended them with a year. But he didn't do it, and he got all the attention. And he seemed to be loving talking about Micah Parsons. He even said something like, oh, he could get hit by a car, so maybe we won't pay him. Like, he said stupid shit like that. Excuse my language. But do you think he's holding these contracts out? Do you think he's doing this on purpose?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why? I can't explain it any other way.
Now Micah Parsons wants out, and I don't know. Is there any teams that you think would be a good fit? Do you think they'll actually trade him? And if they do you think there's any teams that you think would give up that draft capital to be a good fit?
Well, I told you last week that, I think you disagreed with me, and maybe it's the homer in me that wants the Bengals to trade for him. But I thought the Bengals were a pretty good pick. I also, the more and more I thought about it after I mentioned it last week, and I think you were in the same boat with me, I think the Arizona Cardinals make a lot of sense too, because they have a lot of cap room. And I think that they could give up some draft capital, and they wouldn't be where the Bengals probably are. Well, I mean, if they got Micah Parsons, maybe. But, one of the things that you were saying was, why does Dallas want to trade with Cincinnati with the offense that they have? They're probably going to get, late 20-round picks and stuff like that. Why do you want that? You're almost going to have to trade him to a terrible team in order to get really good draft capital back from him. So I'm not sure if then that's going to make Micah Parsons happy. And so I'm just going to make this prediction right now. In the end, and it'll be sometime next year, sometime next offseason after Jerry Jones squeezes this for every drop of juice that he can get out of it, he'll eventually pay Micah Parsons so darn much money that Parsons will be like, okay, fine. I'll be a Cowboy for the rest of my life, and thank you for backing the Brinks truck up to my house.
Probably. Yeah, probably. But, hypothetical, I thought of two teams.
Okay.
So the Chargers make a lot of sense because they have a lot of cap room next year. I think they're third, maybe. They have a lot of cap room next year. And they really need pass rush. And I'm a little worried about their defense. So they would make sense. And I'm going to give you an off-the-wall team. So there's a team. We actually already mentioned them. It got to be in win-now mode. They lost an NFC title game 2 years ago. They had a huge lead. I think they would have beaten the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs won that Super Bowl because the 49ers offensive line got shredded.
Yep.
And the Lions offensive line was incredible that year. So I think the Lions will win the Super Bowl. And then last year, complete disaster. Goff has the worst game, just 3 interceptions. They lose to Washington, a hot team. If the Lions went out and gave up future draft capital and got Micah Parsons with Aiden Hutchinson, oh my God. And I don't want this to happen, and obviously Dallas would need a lot because you're going to be picking late because Detroit's very good. But can you imagine Detroit just like going for it? Like, okay, the last 2 years we fumbled in the playoffs. We got to go for it. This is our window because this is their window. And I think that would be, if I'm the Lions, I'm on the phone and I'm seeing what I can do because they don't have a very good pass rush outside of Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm. And we really don't know what Hutchinson's going to be. I mean, we want to say he's going to fully recover, but until we see some games, we don't really know. I mean, it's a hard sport, and that was a terrible injury. So the only other thing that I'm going to push back on you a little bit here is Micah Parsons, and I'm not near the offensive defensive line guru that you are. I mean, if people go over to your channel, you'll see that you love breaking down offense, defense line. Then it's what, tight ends, probably, and wide receivers? No, you said wide receivers and safeties. Yes.
My 3 favorite positions to watch for the NFL draft are offensive line, wide receiver, and safety. Absolutely.
So what Dallas does with Micah, because he is so talented, they can move him all over that line.
Yes.
So my question to you is, if you're another team that's interested in Micah Parsons, do you get him to be the guy on your line and just move him all over the place like what Dallas does? Or are you a team that already has a stalwart on one side and you put Parsons on the other side and just let both of them just eat?
Probably move him around. Like, the thing is, any team could use him because he moves around so much. Every single team could use him. He'd fit every scheme. He's just such an incredible player. He's one of the best off-ball linebackers in the game. He's one of the best edge rushers in the game. He's just that incredible. So, yeah, you just keep moving him around. What's so valuable with him is he can start off at off-ball linebacker, show blitz, back out. Or he can, just blitz, or he could just come off the edge. Like there's so many, you have to adjust. So every team could use a Micah Parsons.
Yeah, you have to know where Micah Parsons is at all times.
At all times, yes.
All right, buddy. So I know you can see what we got. We got more football stuff, man.
Yeah, let's talk about Caleb Williams. So we talked about this a little before, but he's not had a very good camp. He's been inconsistent. He struggled mightily at the team scrimmage. When I'm sure you saw the video when the quarterbacks are throwing in the net, he couldn't hit it, and he just blew a hissy fit. Lost his temper. Hardly anyone was talking about this. The media wasn't really covering this. I saw both these things on X because people took videos of it. So the media, it's almost like they're coddling him. And he had a good game against the Bills this past weekend, Caleb Williams. He did well. He led 2 touchdown drives. And if you watch NFL Network, you'd think he's going to win MVP this year. He's the favorite. They acted like this is the best thing that's ever happened to anyone, like he's this amazing player. The Bills played backups. The Bills did not play their starters. He should do well. Do you think the media, they don't report on the negative stuff? Do you think they're protecting him because he's the first pick? What do you think?
Well, here's what I think, and you really haven't mentioned this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the NFL is better if Dub Bears are good. And so that's what the NFL wants. The NFL wants the Bears with their fan base and everything else. With they're going to do the thing on the helmets for Steve Mongo McMichael, and they're going to do all these different things. So the NFL wants them to be relevant, and they're either going to push them to be relevant and they're going to be good, or they're going to push them to be relevant and then they're going to fall off the face of the earth, and the NFL is going to make fun of them the entire time because they fell off the face of the earth. So I think either way the NFL wins, and this is the big setup. We got guys like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and all these guys who a lot of people trust. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, or I'm not saying that I don't, but their job is not necessarily to break news. Their job is to different people leak stuff to them so that you leak a contract and it's like, okay, so then when you leak the contract about TJ Watt, then Trey Hendrickson says, oh, well, he's getting ready to get paid that. Well, I want to get paid this. And, so they're like faucets, man. They're like faucets in a 1900 house. No matter how hard you turn the handle, they're still going to drip a little water. So there's a narrative here, I think. And I'm not sure if the narrative is they're trying to protect him, but I do think the narrative is the NFL wants the Chicago Bears to be in the center of attention, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, you mentioned Ian Rappaport. I've just noticed, I follow him, and I noticed that he'll post positive things about Shedeur Sanders, Caleb Williams especially.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 2 posts on Sunday, both about Caleb Williams. One was that Ben Johnson said, oh, he's locked in right now. Ben Johnson's coach. He's not going to say he's struggling to, right. He's locked in. And the other one was just showing his touchdown pass. The whole post on X was just Caleb Williams' touchdown pass. And to be honest, it wasn't like the most impressive throw ever. Lamidi Zaccheaus, the wide receiver, ran a really good quick slant, beat the corner easily. The backup corner, by the way. Backups were in there. And caught it and then ran most of the way for a touchdown. It was not a hard throw. Most quarterbacks, third stringers, can make that throw. But that's what Ian Rappaport showed. So you just see that and you think, oh, God, well, Caleb Williams. Well, look, this is what Ian Rappaport's showing. He's doing great. It feels like he's struggled a lot in camp, and they're trying to make it like he isn't. It's like they're trying to protect him. And it's just fascinating to me. And I go into more depth on my channel at Football with Cheese. You can check it out. I did a whole video on that yesterday. I probably talked for 5 or 6 minutes on the topic. So Do you think? Well, let me just mention this real quick. So the Bears upgraded a lot of offensive talent.
Yes.
Okay. They used the first round pick on a receiver last year, Roma Dunze. They traded for DJ Moore. That year too. They drafted Luther Burden in the second round this year, wide receiver, Missouri. They used their first round pick on a tight end. They upgraded the interior offensive line, including Joe Tooney, one of the best guards in the game. So, and they also hired Ben Johnson to be the head coach, who's regarded as one of the best offensive coaches in the game. He was the offensive coordinator of the Lions. So, do you think this puts more pressure on Caleb Williams with all these additions? Like, he has to perform?
Well, the first thing I think is that we're going to do the Truth Top 10 here in a little bit. And when we get to that, I'm thinking this Loveland guy is going to be in my Truth Top 10 somewhere, the tight end that Chicago just got, because I do think there is at least a slight chance that he may get offensive rookie of the year. We'll do those top 10s here in just a moment from both myself and Cheese. But yes, it does put it puts a ton of pressure on Caleb Williams, and it also puts a ton of pressure on the coach and probably the GM too. I mean, they've interlinked all these guys together, right? So they've signed them all to roughly the same contracts, and their contracts are going to expire at roughly the same time. So I don't think it's the end all be all this year, but I do think they have to show improvement. And to be honest with you, I think they have to at least make the playoffs this year.
It's a tough division. It's going to be tough. But I think the Bears fans expect that. It's the Bears, this happens every year. This happened last year too. The Bears won the offseason. The media talks about, I don't know what it is about the Bears. They won the offseason. Oh, they're the first pick, got Caleb Williams. Like, everything's going to turn around. They always seem to win the offseason. They're talked about it. And then when the regular season happens, it's a disaster. Now, Matt Eberflus was a horrible coach. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. He was horrible. So he was part of the problem. And they seem to have upgraded head coach. We'll see. He's never coached a game. Certainly upgraded the offensive system for sure. But I think Bears fans think that. I honestly don't think they're a playoff team. I just think the division's tough, and I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. What do you think about him? I mean, would you want him as your quarterback long term? Are you worried about his attitude, the way he blows a hissy fit, the way he lays on the bench? What do you think about him?
Well, of course, I'm worried about him. But I'll answer your question first, and then I'll give you the comment at the end. Yes, I'm 100% worried about him. I was also 100% worried about Kyler Murray, just to use that as an example. When he came to Arizona, where I'm at, Kyler Murray is a lot like Williams. They haven't lost a lot. They don't know what losing feels like. So I wonder when they get here. I mean, that was Kyler's problem, and he admitted to it later on. He was like, man, I won in high school. I won all the time in college, and then I get to the NFL, and it's like, crap, this is a different league. I just can't tuck the ball and take off and run and score a touchdown and will my team to victory. That's not the way it works in the NFL. And I think Caleb Williams is kind of finding out the same truth. I just can't throw up a pass and the really good receivers that I'm throwing to can just run underneath of it, and all of a sudden we got a touchdown, and here we go. We're off to the races. But the thing that I will say about this, and I'm really kind of surprised you haven't brought this up, is the word scapegoat for me. The Bears don't have a scapegoat now. There is not a Matt Eberflus. There's not a terrible person that they can blame all this on. Caleb is new. They got, as you were said, Roma Doomsday, and they got the new tight end, and they've got all these pieces around them, including a new head coach and a new offensive guy and everything else. So if they're terrible this year, who are they going to blame it on? That's what I think will be interesting before it's all said and done. I almost wish them to be terrible because I want to see how they're going to react if they are.
That is an excellent point. That might be the best point you've made on the show tonight. You gave me a compliment earlier about my question about 29-year-olds, so I'm giving you a compliment. That's an excellent point. I did not think of that. So I don't know. They actually extended the GM.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan Poles,
right?
Ryan Poles, because they wanted this whole thing together, Ben Johnson together. I would not have done that because I don't think he's done a good job at all.
But I think that's smart, though, because then if it all crash and burns, you can just fire everybody and be like, all right, everybody out. We're just going to start over again. Now, that's not what the Bears fans want, but, I mean, they've got it set up to where if that's what they really want to do, they can.
I just think that I wanted to see how this year goes before, but I get why they did it, but I would not have, because his record, they've lost 2/3 of their games under his regime, but
right.
It's almost like he got rewarded for winning on paper in the offseason. And they haven't played a game yet. And I'm just telling you right now, I'm just looking at I know this division well. Anything could happen. People get hurt, obviously. If Jared Goff or Jordan Love get hurt, knocked out for the year in week 1, that would change things. But I still think they're the worst team in that division. And I don't think they're bad. I think they're an 8 or 9 win team. I just think the other 3 teams are better.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you on that point because those are 3 really good teams. But who are they going to blame if they don't make the playoffs? And who are they going to blame if they only win 6 games? And,
I don't know.
What are is there going to be rioting in the streets of Chicago and
probably Ryan Poles? Probably Ryan Poles, but they'll be mad at everybody. I think everybody will be to blame. Blame will be spread around. There won't be one person to blame, and I don't think Caleb Williams will get all the blame, even if he doesn't play great, because he somehow didn't get a lot of blame this past year. Like the media forgives him. They just forgive him. So probably either Ben Johnson or Ryan Poles.
Okay. Now, not only did Cheese write this part of the show, but he's going to do some stuff later on when we talk about baseball realignment. He's got a really good thought process for that too. You are complete with your football stuff for the moment, right, sir?
That is all. Okay,
so let me do something a little different. Let me throw a video up here. The old man's finally figuring out how to do all this. Wait, we have a comment over here.
I thought we had breaking news for a second.
Oh, look at this. I am shocked that this is up here because I know right now they can ball in preseason, right? So I know right now that they're doing their podcast. I saw it earlier. So, gentlemen, if you're listening to us right now, I hope you had a great podcast. And I hope everyone checks you out as soon as they're done right here with the Sportz Truth. Then they go over to Sons of Star podcast and they listen to you guys talk about the debacle that is the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. But I know you love your team, and that's what matters to you guys.
Real quick, I just have something somewhat breaking. The Patriots say whatever the Bengals are offering Hendrickson is too much. They're not willing to go close to that. It says here, it's just way too much what the Bengals want in return. So,
well, we're talking about the Bengals, and I think you know what's coming here. So you're setting me up really well, trying to do a nice segue for me. Let's look at, I know you said that you watched every snap of the Washington Commanders and the Cincinnati Bengals game. So let me give you this few second video, and then I want you to comment afterward on this play.
Mitchell Tinsley with 2 plays.
Baller.
End zone, Tinsley with a spinning catch. Did he catch that? He did. Unbelievable.
Over my career, I've been the guy that's been overlooked. I constantly put the work in when nobody's watching.
I told him, man, he keep going, he's going to have an opportunity to play with the ones.
What can you say about Mitchell Tinsley tonight?
Yeah, that guy's been making plays all camp.
Tinsley, come on!
We made him a captain tonight because all he does is work.
Have a night, Mitchell Tinsley.
All right, so what do you think about Mitchell Tinsley, sir?
Former undrafted free agent, was with Washington. Washington.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Washington originally signed him, undrafted free agent, a couple of years ago. I remember when they signed him. They let him go, and incredible. It's not just what Burrow said. It wasn't just this game. He's had incredible camp. I've been hearing about him all camp, and he's made this team and unbelievable at contested catches. Those contested, that is so hard. Contested catch rate, if you're even at 50%, you're in good shape. I don't know what his percentage is, but it's insane. And Zach Taylor called him a baller right off the bat. It's like, he's a baller. And I keep reading about his work ethic. You saw him fight for those catches. And that's how you make it. And he's made the team, and he's probably their number 3 receiver on the team. 2 months ago, he would have been like the 7th or 8th receiver, probably practice squad at best. And with his hard work, his attitude, just everything, it's pretty amazing. And he torched Washington that game.
So is it somebody that you're rooting for?
Absolutely. Love stories like this. And they talked about a lot on the broadcast. I give them credit. They emphasized him a lot. So that was really cool.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. I wanted to bring that up. I saw that clip and I was like, oh, I like the music behind it and everything else. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to preview something a little bit. Next week, we're going to talk about the most career earnings by draft round. Now, if you're confused a little bit, like what? So who got picked in the first round that has been paid the most money? Who got picked in the second round that has been paid the most money? Who got picked in the third? It's a really neat list. I have 7 rounds, and then I have an undrafted. So it'll be interesting. We'll talk about those next week right here on the Sportz Truth with myself, Mike Valentine, and Cheese that you can find over at Football with Cheese. And I know you're also writing some articles, right, sir? Where are you writing those articles at, and what are they about?
If you are a Green Bay Packer fan or just a fan of football, PackersTalk.com, Packers with an S, PackersTalk.com. Every Monday I release an article, and it's all about Green Bay Packers, which obviously is my team. So make sure you check those out.
All right, so we're going to get ready to do our final segment of the evening, and then we're going to go into the Truth Top 10 at the end. This should be good. This is this. I did all that nice setup and then screwed it up.
I thought we talked baseball, Mike. I thought we were talking baseball.
We are. This. I wonder how many times I can say this without actually finishing it. So let's do it one more time. This is MLB 4-pitch talk. All right, buddy. MLB 4-pitch talk. 4 questions that we're going to do, and then most of them have 4 follow-ups. Not all of them, but most of them will here. So we'll do MLB 4-pitch talk. Kind of like 4-pitch walk, but we just switched the letter. So good deal.
Makes sense.
All right, let's go to Ketel Marte here with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, it's a team that I was covering on another podcast and stuff that I have stopped doing right at the moment, and I want to focus on one of our adventure that's going to happen here. It's going to be myself, it's going to be Cheese, and there's going to be a few more people that will be gathered in on it. You never know who all else is going to be on this venture, but we're going to reach out to some people and see what we can do here. So hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have some major announcement as to what that's going to be. I'm hoping that we can get it done before the football season kicks off. We'll see if that can come to fruition. Ketel Marte and the Arizona Diamondbacks are under fire because Ketel Marte has asked for additional days off. So I've got a few questions here. Marte is 29 years old, Chiefs, and he's been in the league for 9 years. So because of those 2 facts alone, his age, we talked about Trey Hendrickson's 29 years, and we talked about Terry McLaurin at 29 years. Ketel Marte is the same age, 29, and he's been in the league for 9 years. Do those 2 facts simply give him the ability to ask or be granted for additional days off?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously you want your players to want to play all the time. I think if they were in a heated playoff run, it might be different. So I don't know. I'm not in Ketel Marte's head, but I don't have as big a problem with it than most people, especially because they're not a contender. I think it's different. Some people will disagree with me. He's gone through a lot this year. His home was robbed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, he's got four kids, I think. You know him better than me. 4 kids.
I think he's got either 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Luckily, no one was home. Okay. No one was home, but someone invaded your home. He's, I get it. He might be going through some stuff, and that's why he wants some extra days off. It's not, necessarily looking good when this gets out.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be better if it didn't get out and he just had a day off here, day off there. But I would prefer he wants to play every day, but I don't have this big a problem with it than most. What do you think?
I don't have a huge problem with it either. We'll talk more about it as we go through. Me, Cheese, and his orange Spidey cup there. We'll do some more talking on this subject. So I'll save a little bit of my comments for later on with additional questions there. So are you a Marvel guy, or what's the other one? Marvel, or what else?
I'm a huge Marvel movie fan, at least until the last 4 or 5 years, but gone downhill.
So you decided to grow up a little bit? Is that what it was?
No, never.
No. Okay.
No, just a big movie fan, big fan of the MCU. And well, in the last 4 years, pretty bad, but
okay.
But yeah, big Spider-Man fan. Movie comes out next year.
All right.
Disney sponsor us. Disney sponsor us. Thank you.
No, sure. I'm sure they'll get right on that, sir.
I just criticized their last 4 years, so no.
Right. Good job, Chase. I don't know why I've got you on this show sometimes. You got to think long term here, buddy. Long term, okay?
Yes. I'll reach out to Porsche. Let's see if they
okay. Yeah, if you can get each one of us a Porsche, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. I'll work on it.
You'll have a guaranteed spot on this show. I don't care how old you get. You have to use your walker to get to the microphone. That's fine. So
what will you be using?
Oh, that means I'll be using probably 2 walkers. I have the tennis balls on the bottom of them and everything, man. It'd be bad. All right. So over the weekend, he DH'd a game. So the last 2 games in Colorado, he DH'd the next to the last game in Colorado, and then he didn't play the last game in Colorado, and they lost both games. So he's probably their best player. I don't know. There's some debate there for me. I really like Perdomo as well. You could say maybe that Corbin Burns might be their best player, but he's injured right now. So right. there's a few things that you could put into that boat. But this is bad timing, is what this is. And I'm just going to spill this out, especially since I'm not doing anything for the other media outlet anymore. I didn't want to hammer people too bad, but I'll do it here on the podcast that I actually run, and don't care what people say in the comments or anything else. So the Diamondbacks are falling off.
Yes.
And in the media market, when a team starts to fall off, you've got to create buzz. If that's your media and that's your market. I mean, nobody's going to follow the WNBA that's doing really well actually in Phoenix. Their record's doing really well, and they're in the top part of their division. The football's really not kicked in yet, right? So we're still in preseason mode. So you've got to get a little bit more out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And what way in a media market that's driven by millions of people to get more than to say, oh, look, the star player's lazy and we can prove it. So I think this is more media driven than anything else. I mean, Marte came out and apologized. It's like, why are you apologizing for? What, are you not going to be able to take a sick day? I mean, I don't know about you, Cheese. I get tons of sick time. I usually don't take it. But I get sick time. I get vacation time. I get holidays. I get a bunch of other days. I mean, I work for the state. So, I'm going to get a pension in the end and all that good stuff. So that's one of the reasons why you do that, why you work, is to get some of those rewards. I don't understand why a ball player, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, or any other sport, is any different than you and I.
Because he makes millions, and because the fans basically pay his salary. That's the big difference. And fans might not be as forgiving, and they're like, he makes millions. Why is he taking off? He should play. That's the difference. But it's a tough one. It's 162 games. And like I said, I think maybe it shouldn't matter, but to me, it does. They're not in contention. They're not going to make the playoffs. So if they're in a situation next year where they're competing with the Dodgers in the division, and they're like 1 game out at this point, and he wants these days off, I think then it would create a huge problem. But I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would. I don't know him, but I don't think he would. So right. Well, I think the situation is important.
Yes, and that was the other spot that they were in here, right? So they were going to Colorado. Colorado's a terrible team, as you and I and pretty much everybody else on this listening to us right now knows. So they were supposed to go to Colorado and sweep them. And if they went to Colorado and swept them, then they were going to be right at 500. And then people were going to start getting excited again. It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. The Cardinals are falling off. We'll talk about this here, and actually, we already did talk about it in the Flamin' Five that we did earlier. The Mets are falling off, the Cardinals are falling off, and now all of a sudden the Diamondbacks are starting to rise back up there, and it's like, wow, can we really get back into this race? And people would have gotten excited about it again. And this was ill-timed. And I'll talk about that in the end, but you're right. The situation is critical and it is important. And that's what we were facing here in Arizona was, okay, can they get back in this race? Can they sweep? If they sweep the Rockies, wow, we're right back into the wild card. We're not going to be back in the division race because we're not getting there. But you get excited for the wild card. You'd be 4 or 5, I believe, 5 games behind the Reds. So you were back in it. And there was, you could at least see a little light at the end of the tunnel, right? So
you still would probably need to win 80% of the games from then on out. Probably would, but you're right. But it's possible. It's possible. Right. But you can't lose to the Rockies if you want to get back in it. You cannot lose to the bad teams.
Right,
you have to beat them.
Yeah, that's what everybody was all upset about. Was he took off 2 of the 4 games? We needed to win those 2 games. But on the other side of it, so if I'm going to give my star player days off, it's going to be against a terrible team. Why am I going to give my star player days off against a really good team where I need him? I mean, there's where if I'm the head coach or I'm the manager, I guess is really what you are in baseball. Those are the days off, and I'm going to give him back-to-back against a terrible team that the rest of my team should be able to beat them. They've only won 6 series. The Diamondback series was their 7th one. They'd only won 6. This is true. Hear me on this one. They have only won 6 series all year long. They should be able to beat them without Ketel Marte.
Yeah, and if they were playing the Dodgers at home and Clayton Kershaw was on the mound, there's no way Marte is not in that lineup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, against the worst team, that's usually more forgivable to give him a day off.
Right. So the team just extended him this past April. They extended him to a 6-year contract that was worth $116.5 million. And that takes him through 2030, which is his age 36 season. So, and 47 million of that is deferred. So it's an average of 19.4 million a year for the next 6 years. Are they simply trying to protect their long-term asset by giving him a few days off here and there? I mean, maybe he gets a few extra days off here and there, but he's older. Shouldn't he be able to take those extra days off? And the Diamondbacks say, yes, we've talked to our doctors and we've done all of this and we want him to be good and we want him to be around for the next 6 years because we're paying him a boatload of money. And this is how we do it. This is how we, in the NBA, it's called load management, right?
Right.
I don't understand why everybody's getting all bent out of shape about this.
Yeah, the only thing with that is you don't want a player to be coddled. You don't want a player like, okay, oh, we paid you, you're a good player, so if you need off, just take it. And he kind of controls. He can say when he gets off or not. I'm not, you don't want to ever get in that situation. I'm not saying that's the situation, but you don't necessarily want the player to dictate when they play or not. Oh, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going through Ketel Marte's head, but just trying to play devil's advocate there. I agree with you, but just because you paid him doesn't mean he should be able to I just need some days off, like throughout the year, keep doing that.
Okay. So last thing here on Ketel Marte. So you write for PackersTalk.com, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So as a reporter, not only a podcaster, but reporter as well, article writer. I mean, it's
content creator.
Just go on and on and on. So,
journalist, content creator. Yes.
There we go. Whew.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Universe 2026.
Yeah, your head's going to be bigger than that cup you're drinking out of here in a moment. So as a reporter, if the team is winning and you get a story like this, do you bury the story to not upset the clubhouse and the fan base and everything else? Or do you have a duty to your fan base to report that story, even though it might destroy the team and what's going on with them as they're trying to come back and get back into the race?
I prefer to report the information. I prefer that because we should know. But a lot of journalists aren't going to do that because they want access to the team. And if they report negative stuff, and this is a huge problem nowadays, they want access to the team and they will lose that. If you report negative stuff, the owner can come in and just your access is gone.
Yep.
Your source is gone. And that's a shame. I don't like that. I would want to report. I want to know everything. I want to know this. But a lot of stuff doesn't get out like it used to because of that. People want access.
Yeah, I think if you listen to a lot of baseball play-by-play, just for an example, right? They'll I don't want to say never, but they very rarely talk bad about the team.
They don't criticize the players anymore. Yeah. They don't criticize anything they do. Oh, well, he made a mistake there. They never say, he's not playing well or I don't like his attitude. They never criticize the player anymore. You're right, because they're covering the team. And even though they work for a television station, not the team, they want to keep their job.
All right, let's go to the Brewers for a minute. Ken Rosenthal talked about the Brewers, and he basically said that the Brewers don't worry about analytics near as much as they do fundamentals. He didn't say that's why the Brewers are winning, but he kind of pointed to that, saying that that's why he thought that the Brewers were winning. Let me get my trusty little phone over here and get back to our poll question, because that is the poll question today. Nope, that's not what I want. Stop it. Stop. I said stop. Okay, there we go. You got to talk to those phones sometimes. So here's the poll question. Are teams too focused on analytics instead of fundamentals? Cheese, I'll let you talk about this for a second, and I'll find our Twitter poll question results.
I think I'm a big analytic person. I think it's changed the game. I think it was necessary. And most teams have really adapted. I'll say this, the Cubs, they have half the front office they used to because they use computers and analytics. But I think we've gone too far. I think fundamentals, I think a lot of teams don't do the sack bunt, don't do the little things anymore. The fundamental little things, I think it's gone by the wayside a little bit. I think we've overdone analytics. So I think teams are a little too focused on analytics, which I think is important, but yeah, a little too much.
All right. I tend to agree with you. I do believe that, the front offices, I think, are the ones that are really pushing the analytics more than the coaches and things on the field.
Sure.
So we'll get to that here in just a moment too. But our poll question here, as we asked, are teams too focused on analytics and not enough on fundamentals? We've had almost 100 people take a look at this question, and several of them have voted for us. And right now it's split 50-50 right down the middle. So that's interesting. I think that a lot of our other fans should go over to our site at the 643 and Out Pod, vote on that poll question. I'll put the results up when that poll question is over in roughly 24 hours. I put it out about 4 hours ago. So you got about 20 hours or so to vote on that. Yes, I think that we are. I think sometimes we have too many numbers. And I've even heard players say before, that there's too much information being thrown at me. Just give me a few simple things and let me do that. So I think sometimes we throw too much analytics and we don't focus on those fundamentals. Is there, right, and here we go. Is there too much managing from the front office and not as much managing from diamonds and dugouts? What do you think about that?
I think so. I think it's that has become an issue. It's all about analytics, and they want you to. They give you binders, and they give the coaches, the managers, all these binders and analytics, and this pitcher with this hitter with that. Like you know, I think they throw so much information at you, and so it's definitely different.
And anytime they show a shot of the dugout, you see all these portfolios everywhere, and they've all got iPads, and they're looking at different stuff, and it all depends on what you look at. And then here's the thing, right? After, especially like a pinch hit or something like that, afterward, the reporters are going to be like, "Why'd you do that?" And "Why didn't you do this?" And when we were up in the booth, no, not down on the field, but when we were up in the booth, we noticed and we looked up all these analytics, and I don't understand why you didn't pitch hit for this player, and I don't understand why you didn't pitch run for that one, and I don't understand why you didn't do, you cost us the game. And we say armchair quarterbacks all the time in the NFL. I think we've got a bunch of front office people who look at analytics way too much and don't necessarily focus on the fundamentals. Those managers in the dugout know those players. Those people in the front office really don't know them. They just know their numbers.
The stats are insane. Like the stats, the databases these teams have. Like I'll just give you a couple examples. Like there might be a hitter who doesn't hit breaking balls well the first 2 times up because he's sitting fastball. And if you throw him a lot of breaking balls, then he starts sitting it later in the game. So later in the game, they might say, okay, bring in a guy that throws better fastballs because he's going to be looking for the breaking ball. This is what analytics will tell you. That's what it'll say in the binder. Or, just something like that. Or this guy struggles against, like the curveball, right? But, this type of curve, this like a knuckle curve or something from lefties, but not righties. Or he hits changeups well in this inning, and then if you get him late in the game, then he's guessing fast. It's unbelievable. They analyze every at bat, every little thing a hitter does, and it's all in those binders. It's insane.
It is. It really is. So the last question here on the fundamentals. So I'll let you give me your definition first, and then I'll give you mine as we talk about this. Then we're going to go to Kyle Tucker, and then we're going to talk about baseball realignment here right before we do our Truth Top 10, and then we'll bid everybody adieu here. But stick with us. We got three more topics to go to here. So what does playing fundamental – did you play baseball as a kid, Cheese?
I did.
So, I think when you're a kid, a lot of the coaches kind of hammer the fundamentals into you. So then let me ask you, what does playing fundamental baseball mean to you?
Just, I guess, maybe doing the little things, covering a base, running hard, sliding in, reading the play, base running, fielding your position, just doing the little things, technique, just a lot of little things, if a man's on second, nobody out, hitting the ball the right side, get him to third, putting the ball in the air, man on third, 1 out, just all that stuff, just doing the right things, and don't mess up. Do the right things and you won't mess up. Little things like that can win you a 3-2 game. What was your definition of it?
Well, I love the fundamentals of baseball, right? And I'm with you. I think those things are extremely, extremely important. Here's the stat I want. I'll give it to you in just a second. I found it. So I love stats too, right? I'm a big stat geek. Yes, I love the numbers. I love to dive into stuff. I mean, my nickname that was given to me by someone else was the cleat geek. So any person that wore cleats, I'm geeking out to that stuff because I'm digging into numbers. And part of it's because, as a child, I had one of those I love her to death, but I had one of those overbearing mothers who was like, "Oh, you're going to get hurt. You can't play those. You can't do that." So I was in martial arts, and I watched a lot of television. I watched a lot of games. So then I started analyzing everything, and it's like, okay, well, if I can't play, then I'm going to start analyzing stuff. So that's kind of where I got all this stuff from. But you're right as far as the fundamentals. How many times have you thrown stuff into television and you just see a play unfolding in front of you and you just know they're going to mess it up? And and it's crazy, right? Let me give you this from Codify Baseball. If you don't follow them on Twitter, it's at Codify, Codify Baseball. Remember Kevin Youkilis that played for the Boston Red Sox?
He is a Moneyball dream. Yes.
Yes,
he was a walk machine. It's like he went up to bat trying to walk. Yes.
Right. So you're really leading me into my point. I don't know if you've seen this or not. It's over on our Twitter right now.
I will never forget Kevin Youkilis. Yeah.
Okay, so it's over at the 643 and Out Pod right now. And here's the stat. Kevin Youkilis had 4,444 plate appearances in the big leagues and never once swung at a 3-0 pitch. Never once.
Yep.
So, exactly what you were saying is 100% true. And that's one of those fundamentals, right? Well, what you're going to get on 3-1 is pretty much the exact same thing you're going to get on 3-2. So why swing 3-1? And when you can take the walk and get on base. So just one of those kind of fundamental things that we were talking about here. Let's move to Kyle Tucker on the Chicago Cubs, Cheese's baseball team, or one of Cheese's baseball teams besides the Atlanta Braves. Kyle Tucker was booed from the field the other day. Now he's going to get a few days off. Craig Counsell said to reset.
He didn't play either doubleheader game today.
No, and he wasn't. They said he was not. Craig Counsell came out and said he's going to give him 2 or 3 days off to quote unquote reset himself. So
the Cubs won both games, by the way. They needed to. They really needed that sweep of the Brewers. But it's interesting they won both without him. Anyway, go ahead.
So that play, right? That play where he hit the ball to first base, the first baseman got it, walked right to the bag with it. I don't even think Kyle Tucker got 10 feet out of the batter's box, and he just basically turned around and went back to the dugout. Do you think that was a lack of effort, or do you think that he is just feeling overwhelming frustration right now because of the way his second half of the season's going?
I think he's frustrated. I think he knows it was a mistake right away. I don't think he purposely pulled a Robinson Cano, but that's what I call him, the Robinson Cano. But I think he's just frustrated. And here's the thing with Kyle Tucker. He hurt his finger around June 1st. I don't know the exact date. And he played through it. And he probably shouldn't have. He probably should have been DL'd, but he's Kyle Tucker. Oh, no, he can play. They played through it. And I think it changed his swing mechanics because he couldn't – I think it was his ring finger. He couldn't swing the same way. So I think it changed his mechanics and it messed his swing up, and he's got bad habits. His swing doesn't look the same. If you look at it like, from April and May when he was doing really well to now, he's hitting the ball on the ground more. He's popping up more. He's just making a lot more weak contact. He's actually striking out less. That's what's crazy. He's striking out less. But he's just making weak contact, and he's frustrated. The last time he homered, the Cubs were in first place, and they haven't been in first place for a long time.
Yeah.
So he needs. Yeah, I think at this point it's mental. I think his finger's better. I think it's just mental and mechanics, and he's just got to somehow get it fixed.
So then doesn't that take us back to the whole Ketel Marte thing we were talking about earlier, right? If you give them a few extra days off here and there, maybe they stay healthier and
right.
They can actually contribute a little more. I wanted to kind of circle the wagons with this one because you got, Ketel on one end and Kyle Tucker on the other end. Neither of them are doing extremely well right at the moment. Well, I can't say that. I mean, when they were in Texas, Ketel Marte hit home runs in the bottom of the ninth in both games and got them the victories. So that hasn't been that many games ago.
That's pretty good. He's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yeah. Both of them are really good players. I think Tucker's going to get paid more than what Marte is being paid right at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a 6-year, $116 million contract for a guy of Ketel Marte's stature is a heck of a deal.
Correct.
But no matter what, though, even if you're not hitting, the one thing that you can do on a baseball field that I think fans really expect is effort, right? So how bad does that frustrate you as a Cubs fan when the guy that's making millions of dollars doesn't even give effort?
It's frustrating. That's when the booing started. They boo him now, a lot of his at-bats, but the fans saw that, and he just got to get right. I'm frustrated with him, obviously, because he should be better. They gave up a lot for him. I still think it's going to go down as one of the dumbest trades in recent memory. Like Shelby Miller trade bad. Sorry, Diamondbacks fans. But
he's not with us anymore, so it's okay.
Okay. He's on the Brewers.
They traded him to the Brewers. So
yeah, I know. But the Braves actually stole that trade. But anyway.
Yeah, they did.
He's so talented and he's so good when he's on. He's just got to get it figured out. I think it's good. I wouldn't even be shocked if he took tomorrow off because Owen Casey had 4 RBIs today. Their top prospect.
Between 2 games.
He played right
a doubleheader today.
Yes, it was 2 games. Correct. Yeah, he had his first homer. He had 4 RBIs, and he had 3 RBIs in a 2-run win in game 1. So they don't necessarily have to play Kyle Tucker right now. They don't have to because they have Owen Casey.
Right. So that's my final question here on this Kyle Tucker topic, which is Owen Casey making it to where they can play him, and your Cubs fans, yourself included, are not necessarily going to miss Kyle Tucker?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to miss him, but they're not going to stop playing him. I mean, he's going to play. He's just taking a little time off now, but he's going to play. You have to play him. He's just I think it's swing mechanics, but I also think it's mental. So, but the one mistake the Cubs could make is not playing Owen Casey. You don't have Casey can play center field, left field, DH, so he can play everywhere. I don't love him playing center field. Obviously, Pete Crow Armstrong's elite defensively,
but not when you've got Pete Crow Armstrong. No,
right? But PCA needs a day
off too, right?
Days off. Everyone needs a day off. Just rotate. But you got to play Owen Casey. You called him up. He can hit. He can really hit. So you got to play him.
You don't have to play him. You can send him right back down. He's got options. I mean, you know.
You have to play him because he's one of the only people hitting. You got to play the people that are hitting.
Geez, calm down. He's been there for 2 games, man.
He's played 4 games, and he was their best player today in 2 games. So I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're going to get to the Truth Top 10 here in just a second. But first, I want to look at what might baseball realignment look like. Rob Manfred talked on the ESPN. Oh, I can't believe I just said it. He talked on the Sunday night game that was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I can't remember the little Williamsport. There we go. And they got him to talk about baseball realignment and got him to talk about adding a couple of teams. So Cheese has gone through and picked some divisions. So I'll let you kind of start this off, buddy. So instead of having the American League and the National League, what are you proposing that baseball does?
I'm going to go through this real quick, but what I think they want to do is do more NHL, NBA style, Eastern and Western Conference. The travel wears on these players, 162 games. They're trying to make it more regional. So here's what I propose. Okay. So you add 2 teams. You have 30 teams right now, right? Mm-hmm. So you go to 32 and you have 4 8-team divisions. You have a West and East. So my phone keeps blowing up. So
mine too. They love us, sir. We're getting close to 100 views live right here on the Sportz Truth. So the phone can blow up all they want. They're telling you how great you are.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Well, you say great. They're telling me how I'm doing, but we'll say great. Okay. So it would suck not having American League, National League, but you need 2 expansion teams. I hear Nashville is very likely to be one of those teams. There are rumors of Utah, Portland. To me, those would be disasters. They're not baseball towns. I prefer New Orleans. I don't think it's going to happen. LSU baseball is huge. I think baseball is big in Louisiana, but let's just say Charlotte, and hypothetical for this, Charlotte and Nashville.
But I think you have to. So I know I'm going to interrupt you for a second, but I think you have to, kind of like the last time when they added Tampa Bay and Arizona, you have to have a East Coast and a West Coast team. So I think Nashville is pretty much a lock. So I think you have to add another West Coast team like Salt Lake or like Portland or something like that. That's just my opinion before you get going.
Not necessarily. If you do that, though, then Colorado has to be in the Midwest. Can't be in the West. But I like Colorado in the West, playing the Dodgers and Giants and Diamondbacks. But
okay.
So that's the way I have it done. But I get what you're saying. It would change things. But so So I have the Pacific Division in the Western Conference: Mariners, Athletics, Giants, Padres, Dodgers, Angels, Diamondbacks, and Rockies. Makes sense, right? That's the easy one. Obviously, if you add a Utah team or Portland team, the Rockies would go Midwest.
Okay.
The Midwest, I would have Cardinals, Royals, Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Tigers, Twins, and the Nashville team, whatever their name would be.
Yeah, probably the sound or the music or something to do with country music, I would assume.
It would be fascinating to have the Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Royals in the same division, like have these huge, like same. I think it'd be really interesting. And then the East, here's what I have. Let's do the Southeast first. I'd have the Nationals, Orioles, have to have them together. The Charlotte team, or if it was New Orleans team. The Braves, the Rays, the Marlins, and then Rangers and Astros. Some people might have them in the Central. I think they fit better in the Southeast because I don't think it would work in the Midwest. And then the Northeast, I would have the Reds, Indians. Yes, Indians, not Guardians. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, and Pirates. What do you think of that realignment?
I don't mind your realignment. I like the teams that you suggested that would probably be added to it. I was looking at a lot of this. There's so many different ways you can go with this.
Colorado could be a lot of Colorado.
Yeah, but I would
Nashville. It could be anywhere. Yeah.
4, 8. So you could actually split these up into 4-team divisions.
You could.
And I kind of like the 4-team divisions a little bit better, to be honest, because I don't know how you're going to award people playoffs if you put 8 teams in the same division here. Like let's just say the Pacific, right? So you've got Mariners, Athletics, Giants, Padres, Dodgers, Angels, Diamondbacks, Rockies. So I think I would go, Mariners, Giants, Padres, Dodgers, and then, wow, how would you split up the California teams? And then
Giants and Dodgers have to be in the same division.
Yeah, Giants and Dodgers have to be in the same team, and you almost have to have, you got to have Padres and Dodgers pretty much in the same thing with the Giants. So you would, that would then make you do Diamondbacks, Rockies, Angels, and Mariners.
Padres.
That would be a logistic nightmare. You'd be going. That would come.
No, I think you have to have the Padres in there. I think you have to. I think you have to have the Padres in there.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about it from, the whole reason that we're wanting to do this, or that baseball is wanting to do this, is they're saying the travel. But if you make people travel from Arizona to Washington, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of doing it that way? I mean, I don't know. I really want to see some realignment. I'd love to see some different stuff. We've got a couple models over on our website right now, not our website, our X page right now. And you can see a few models, and I would love to hear some stuff from you fans as far as that goes. I mean, we've got almost 100 people live with us right now. I'm sure someone has an opinion about how they would like to see baseball realigned. But the only thing I would tell you from what you've got to what I would have is I would like to have, I think, 4-team divisions instead of 8-team divisions.
So there's one problem with that. I get it. One problem with that. And we asked, how would you do the playoffs? We just only have 2, like Eastern Conference, you'd have 2 division winners and everyone else is wild card. The problem with 4 divisions, 4-team divisions, is you're going to have a year where the winner of the division wins 83 games. And
the NFL does it.
And they shouldn't. They shouldn't, in my opinion. The NFL, we're going to talk about that in another. I've talked about that on my channel so much. We'll talk about that on another podcast. But I hate the home game. A team that wins 10 games is a home game. The 14-win team has to go on the road. Didn't win their division. That's my problem with it. Like a team that might win 82, 83 games wins their division, so they make the playoffs, and then the 89-win team misses it because they didn't win their division. That's the problem I have with it. But I get what you're saying.
So you're saying if you go with the 8 teams, you're thinking that there's not going to be a terrible team in one of the 8-team divisions?
No, what I'm saying is if you win the division, you're good, right? And there's just going to be a lot of wild cards. There's only going to be 4 division winners, 2 in the East, 2 in the West, and they get buys. And everyone else is a wild card based on record, So the top wild card team, the best record that didn't win the division, will be the 3 seed and play the 6 seed, so they'll get the home game. And I did the math on this. Okay. You play all 7 teams in your division 12 times, 84 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then you play the other teams in your conference twice, 2 3-game series, right? And so that's 132 games. That leaves 30 games. So you play 5 teams in the other conference, home and away, right? 30 games. So that's 5 times 6, right? So you rotate those 5 teams every year, 5 different teams. So instead of playing every team every year, you play your division, 12 times. You play the other teams in your conference 6 times, and you rotate the other league, 5 different teams every year.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to go back to the unbalanced schedule to where not every team plays each other like Major League Baseball is. Yeah. I mean, I know they don't do it, but they're trying to do a little bit better. So
that makes 162. I just went through it. It's easy. Mm-hmm. It's simple. That's 100. So you just rotate 5 teams. So say, say you're the Diamondbacks. So maybe you play, the Orioles, Braves, Nationals, Rays, Marlins one year. Next year you play the Tigers, Yankees, Red Sox, Pirates, Phillies, or the next year, just you rotate 5 different teams home and away. So you're not playing because right now the schedule you play, you're in the National League, you play an American League team on the road one year, then the next year at home. You only play them 3 times a year. That way you play them home and away. I think that's better.
Right. That's the way it works. I get to see every team every couple of years too. I mean, if my favorite player gets traded to another team and I'm, it's like, okay, well, at least I can see him for a series. Like I'll give you an example of that. Justin Verlander, the Giants are coming to Arizona in 2 weeks, I believe. And I'm going to keep really good track of that series because I'm not sure how much longer Justin Verlander is going to pitch. I think he's been one of the better pitchers in baseball as far as the last, 10, 12 years. So I would like to see him pitch live one time before he retires. Mm-hmm. And if he comes to Arizona and he's going to pitch, I will be at that game unless it's a Tuesday night, and then I have to be here.
I got to see him in Houston, so it was really cool. I live in Houston, so I got to see him. It was really awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was awesome. He won.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I really want to see him. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have any other problems with the proposal, like the realignment, the expansion teams? Any other thoughts on that?
No, I mean, like I say, there's so many different ways you can go about it. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to know what's going to happen for a few more years because I don't think we're going to do expansion for probably another 3 to 4 years. But it's interesting to talk about it right now and to take a look at things. And I like what you proposed. Like I said, my only 2 more and we get 100, buddy. I like what you proposed, but I'm just not sure if I like the 8 team. I would rather go into the shorter 4 team. But if that's the only problem I have with it, then we're pretty good.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm looking forward to this next part. Okay.
Yeah, the Truth Top 10. Here we go. We gotta have a little bit of. Let's see what music do we want in the background here. Let's see. I don't know. Let's go with this one. All right, buddy. Truth Top 10.
Okay.
This was a topic, again, and there's a lot of cheese on this show. And sometimes it smells like Limburger, but there's a lot of cheese on this show. So this was a topic that
Camembert. Can you Camembert?
What the heck is that?
Camembert. Never mind. That's a cheese
joke. Is that
joke.
some fancy cheese? I don't have enough money to buy.
If you were a cheese person, you would understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a cheesehead like yourself, so
you're not very good at it.
No. Oh. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, yes. Go back to plugging your show. So,
At Football with YouTube channel, at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. Check it out. I talk about trends, stuff that they're not going to talk about on ESPN or NFL Network. So check it out at Football with Cheese.
and you've released what? I believe 2 videos this week, right? You're going overboard, buddy.
It's off season. It's just 2 videos a week right now until the season starts.
All right. Well, this is our Truth Top 10. We are going to rank who we believe has the best shot at being the Offensive Rookie of the Year in the National Football League. Let's start with 10 and go to 1, if you would, please, sir. Would you like for me to start, or would you like to take the honors?
I'd like you to start, but first I just want to say I changed 2 of these in a week based on the preseason. So I'm kind of glad we waited because I actually took 2 out and put 2 different ones in. So with that, Mike, go ahead.
All right, sir. So starting off with number 10 for me, you may have to help me with his first name. I know his last name is Hampton. I think it's Omarion.
Omarion, yes.
Yes. So I picked Omario Hampton, running back who was in North Carolina and is now with the San Diego Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers, they moved from San Diego.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Cleveland Indians aren't there anymore either. They're the Guardians. But go ahead, sir.
Yes. The New York Giants are now in San Francisco. So yeah.
Okay.
I have him on this list as well. I just have him higher. Okay.
Right.
My number 10. He was not on this list until last night. I'm watching the Bengals-Washington game. And I said, I got to put this guy on my top 10. I put him at 10. His name is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He's a running back, 7th round pick for the Washington Commanders. Hate that name. He had a touchdown run. They're shopping Brent Robinson Jr. So they have to have a running back, and he's been so good in camp. So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 7th round pick, is my number 10.
So while we're doing this, are they going to trade their other running back? Are they going to trade Junior?
They're going to trade him. I don't know if they're going to get anything for him, maybe a late pick swap. The problem is, the reason they're trading him is they like their other running backs better. And he's due $3.6 million this year. So to trade him, you have to convince a team to take on the money, really. So it's going to be a late round swap. And they might have to release him because most teams can't take on that money unless like there's some kind of injury. So they're probably waiting around hoping someone has some kind of big injury.
Okay. All right, sir. So for me, Marion Hampton was number 10. I'm going to take my first quarterback at number 9.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Jackson Dart. Was in Ole Miss and now with the New York Giants. Jackson Dart for me at number 9.
I did not have him on the list, but he's looked pretty good in the preseason so far, so I'll say that. But I did not have him on the list. I wonder if our lists are going to be different because I have Omarion Hampton pretty high. So my number 9 is Matthew Golden, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay, they like to spread it out. They like to feature a lot of receivers, but he's dominated training camp. And I think he's going to lead the team in targets. So I don't think he'll get enough to win Rookie of the Year, but I had to put him in my top 10.
All right. Well, I've got him a lot. Funny, we've got some people. We probably have the same roughly 10 to 12 people, but they're probably going to be in different slots.
So you have Krosky-Merritt as well, right? I'm just kidding.
I don't have Gouda either. All right. So my first of 2 tight ends at number 8 for me. And I'm going to go with Tyler Warren at number 8. I really went with a lot of these, the 2 tight ends, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure which one I want to put above the other one. But I put him at number 8 simply because he's with the Colts. And I don't think the Colts are going to have quite the offensive firepower as the team that has the other tight end, and I'm going to put 1 slot ahead of them. So for me, it's Hampton, Dart, and then Warren.
My number 8 is Tyler Warren, tight end with the Colts as well. That's who I have number 8. So, yeah, same reason you said. I really like Warren, but it's the Colts, so you can't put him too high. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the other tight end, Colston Loveland, he's a tight end that was with that awful state up in the top of the section of the United States that I won't mention because they're terrible. But he is now with the Chicago Bears. My first tight end was Warren. The second tight end for me was Loveland. Warren was at number 8, and Loveland was at number 7.
So I actually left Loveland off the list. He was just missed. And the reason is the Bears have so many weapons. I think it's going to be pretty spread out. I just don't think he'll get enough targets, but obviously he's athletic. He's going to make some plays. He's going to have some great games, but I don't think he'll have the ball.
So I also think that, well, I know I'm interrupting you for a second, and I apologize. But I do think that Caleb may find him as a safety blanket and throw to him a lot. You know, those 5 or 6 yard passes, when everybody else is covered and he's running for his life. And then, like you said, he's very athletic. So he can turn a 5 or 6 yard pass into a 30-yard game. So I'm kind of wondering if we're not going to see some highlight reels of him. That's why I put him a little high.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to have to be the guy that has 3 insane games where just he goes off, gets 2 touchdowns, and then he might have a lot of 3 catches, 31-yard games, because they spread it out.
Okay.
My number 7 is your boy, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just had Jerome McMillan go down, and we don't know what's going on with Chris Godwin. And Mike Evans is going to have a lot of attention. I think Egbuka could lead them in targets. I really do. I think he's going to have an amazing rookie.
Okay. I won't give anything away, but this will be interesting before it's all said and done.
Okay.
All right, so I put a wide receiver in here. He is now with the Panthers. He was with Arizona last year. I am not going to try to pronounce his first name, but I'll tell you his last name is McMillan. So I put him there, and I would have put him higher, but he's with the Panthers. So I couldn't put him any higher for me than 6.
More on him later. Number 6, I have Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner. He's wide receiver / cornerback from Jacksonville. Yes, I have him 6, and the reason I have him 6,
I got to hear that.
2 reasons. He's going to play some corner. I don't know how much receiver he's going to play. I think he'll play more receiver than corner, but I'm wondering if he'll play 70-75% of snaps, and he's at best their number 2 target because Brian Thomas Jr. is their number 1 receiver. Mm-hmm. He had an amazing rookie year last year. So I honestly was like struggling with him and Egbuka. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Egbuka might end up with more targets, but Travis Hunter is so talented, so I have him 6. I know you're going to have him higher. Most people will.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at some of these numbers. I'm just wondering who in the world you're going to have in your top 5. So
you shouldn't be surprised at one of these top 5 that we haven't mentioned yet. You should be not surprised at all.
I know, I get it. So just to go over 10 to number 5 for me. So I've got Hampton, then Dart, then Warren, then Loveland, McMillan, and I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packer guy here at number 5.
Okay.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver for them. I think he's going to get a lot more targets than maybe you think he is. I'm not sure if he's. Oh, there we go. 100 people with us live. Thank you guys very much. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks, Mom.
Your mom was the last one, right? She got us. Oh,
no, I'm sure she's asleep. She's asleep.
Now we're at 101. So mom and dad are on separate computers and separate rings.
Oh, they're asleep. Trust me.
Oh, okay. They're probably doing what my wife does, and she'll, technically she watches it, but she doesn't listen to a word, So
okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I think Golden is going to do really well with the Packers, especially if Love can stay healthy, which I don't know. I'm not sure how great that line is in front of him and how much they can protect him, but hopefully he's going to stay healthy, and I would put Golden with that at number 5.
I'm going to say the offensive line is the least of my worries. I think it's a really good offensive line. The depth is bad, but I think the offensive line, the starting is very good. But
okay,
Love has to stay healthy. He keeps having all these injuries. It's frustrating.
Just little things.
My number 5. You may have heard of him. His name is Cameron Ward. He's a quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. The reason I don't have him higher is I think he's going to produce and throw a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. I just think I watched at Miami. I watched just about every snap, not every game, but probably 9 games. I watched every snap, and he just throws too many turnover-worthy plays. So he's going to throw too many interceptions that will hurt his rookie of the year candidacy. And quarterbacks obviously won it last year, but I think Ward's got a shot, but I have him 5th.
Well, I will tell you there will not be a quarterback that will win it this year as we get closer and closer to the top of each list. So I do not have a quarterback at the top of this list. So
you don't have Cam Ward at all in your top 10?
I do, but he's not number 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead. I spoiled it.
So, yeah. Follow me here, buddy. Follow me here.
Okay.
You're frozen over there for a second, but Golden is my number 5. So for me, I put Cam Ward at number 4. A lot of the same things that you said, but he is still a quarterback. He is the highest rated quarterback on this list, and I've only got 2 quarterbacks in the entire top 10. So I put Jackson Dart at 9, and I put Cam Ward at number 4. I do expect more yards, more touchdowns, all that kind of thing out of Cam Ward, just because I think that they're just basically going to hand him the ball and say, go win the game for us, man. This is what we paid you the money for, and this is why we put you number 1. So here you go.
I just don't know if Jackson Dart's going to start. It could be Russell Wilson a lot of the season, so that's why I didn't have Dart in here at all. I just had the one quarterback.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I put him at 9. But there's just as much. I think there's just as much. I can't think how I want to say it. He's got just as much chance to start as he does not to start. How about that?
Oh, he'll start at some point. I just don't know how many games. It could be 12, but it could be 8. Number 4, I have Travion Henderson, running back with the Patriots. Boy, has he been impressive off season in the preseason games. He's just a stud. He's so explosive. If you're the Patriots, you have to give him the ball. You have to manufacture touches for him. Everything good happens when he just touches the ball, and he's so good at picking up the blitz. So he's going to play. He's going to be the third down back. So he's going to get a lot of catches. So Travion Henderson, number 4.
I don't have him on my entire list.
Wow, that's your boy.
I thought about it.
Wow.
But okay. I did not put him on the list. I actually did Hampton instead. I really wrestled with it to put him on there, but he's a 2nd-round pick, and I'm like, okay, well, he's the 3rd-round pick, right?
Travion Henderson was an early 2nd-round pick.
Was it early 2nd? I can't remember. Early 2nd, early 3rd. I knew the guy that does a lot of draft stuff on his show, Football with Chiefs, would be able to tell me. So, yeah.
He knows a lot about the draft, I hear.
He does. Yeah. So I'll give you the top 3 here in just a second, but it goes for me: Hampton, Dart, Warren, Loveland, McMillan, Golden, Ward, and now I have Travis Hunter. And I did not have him this high on the list until I listened to your channel on the way home from work today. And you were talking about, he'd be the number 2 guy. And then I started thinking about, Trevor Lawrence has got to do something special this year, or I think Jacksonville's in trouble and they may end up moving on from him. So I think because of those 2 things, and I get it that he's probably going to be a cornerback, but you even said on the channel, you think he's only going to be cornerback in certain defensive situations that I won't give away. I'll let the audience go over to your channel at Football with Cheese and listen to what you say that he is really good at. So I don't think he's going to play a lot of corner. I think he'll play more receiver. And I think he'll be a dynamic receiver at that. So I actually probably put him at first I had him at like 6. And then I listened to you earlier today and I was like, you know what, I'm moving him up. And you have him way down on the bottom of your list.
So last week we were going to do the top 10 and we had to cut it. I had him 4 originally and moved him down out of him that high because I just know that Brian Thomas Jr. is number 1. So I just didn't think he'd get enough targets to win Rookie of the Year. So I actually did the opposite of what you did. I originally had him 4. So,
and I will tell you this: I have swapped Today I did it. I swapped my number 1 and number 2 today too, and I did it for reasons that you've already talked about. So we'll see how this all shakes out. That should give some people out there a pretty good hint as to who I'm going to put at my number 1. But Travis Hunter is my number 3. Cheese, who is your number 3?
So 2 of the 3 I have left, you've already mentioned. So obviously there's one.
Well, yeah, Hampton's got to be one of them because you haven't said him yet.
Yeah, I don't even have him 3. 3, I have Tedero McMillan, wide receiver for the Panthers. I get why you have him a little lower. He is the Panthers, but he is the best receiver in the Panthers. He is the number 1 receiver. That's why he's ahead of Travis Hunter and Igbuka. He is the definite top target on that team. They don't have another receiver even close to as talented, as big, as physical as Tedero McMillan.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't know what we're going to get of Bryce Young. He played well down the stretch last year, but before then he was terrible. So will we get that guy? We don't know. If we do, McMillan's got a chance for Rookie of the Year, but yeah, I just think he's going to get a ton of targets, so I have him 3rd.
All right. My number 2 guy, I'm going to bank is your number 1 guy.
Yes.
And I swapped them earlier today because of some things that you've already alluded to. We'll talk to that once I get to it. But for me, number 2, Boise State running back and the Los Angeles Raider, Ashton Gentry. The reason why I did this, I had him number 1 until about 6 hours ago. What time is it? Yeah, about 6 hours ago. And I switched him number 1 because he's going to be keyed on when the Raiders come to town. He's like Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. You are going to know where Ashton Gentry is every snap of every play of every game. So they're going to be on him. Now, he's a freak athlete, and I think he'll be able to run through some of those tackles and stuff like that. But I also think that every team, like I think Kansas City will design something just for him. They'll probably spy him and everything else, right? And I think other teams will too. So because of that, and I wanted to move the other guy from 2 to 1. Again, I'll tell you exactly why here in a minute. And you've already mentioned some of it. So we're going to have, for me, Ashton Gentry, running back, was with Boise State, now with the Las Vegas Raiders. He's my number 2 guy.
Okay. Let me recap mine real quick. Number 10, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Washington. Matthew Golden is number 9, Green Bay Packers. Number 8, Tyler Warren, tight end of the Colts. Number 7, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver of the Buccaneers. Number 6, Travis Hunter, wide receiver, Jaguars. Number 5, Cameron Ward, quarterback, Titans. Number 4, Travion Henderson, running back, Patriots. Tedero McMillan's number 3. He's a wide receiver of the Panthers. And my number 2 is a Marion Hampton, running back, Chargers. I would have had him probably in the 6 or 7 range, but Najee Harris had some kind of accident with fireworks. He's probably not going to play for a while. He's their other running back. I thought they might split carries, but now Hampton's the guy, and he is an athletic freak. He will run you over. I don't love his vision. I don't think he's going to be like this elite player because of that, but in that system, the Chargers love to run the ball. I think he's a perfect fit, and I think he's going to get a lot of touchdowns. And that is, I think he's got a real good shot to a rookie year.
Okay, so let me review. Hampton is my number 10. Jackson Dart, number 9. Tyler Warren, tight end for the Colts, is at 8. Loveland, the other tight end, is with Chicago, and he's at number 7 for me. McMillan, the wide receiver for the Panthers, is at number 6. Matthew Golden was with Texas, now is with the Green Bay Packers. Splits the hairs there and gives me a number 5. Cam Ward at number 4. Travis Hunter, number 3. Ashton Gentry, number 2. That means that with everything that happened in Tampa Bay, as you've already alluded to, you've got one receiver that's down, one receiver that's doubtful, and I saw him make a few really good plays in this past preseason game. I put the guy whose name I love to, I swear when we were doing college games here at the house, we would have to take a shot every time the announcer said, so
I used to mess the name up bad.
Yeah. So love the name, love the talent, love the college, That's wide receiver U down there in Ohio State. So
It really is.
well, I am going to put Emeka Egbuka as the number one person that I think can win the offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL.
Not a homer pick at all. Not a homer pick at all. But no, I get it. I had him 7, and he's got a shot. He's going to get a lot of targets, and he's just really good. I don't think he's got the floor. If you saw my video about him, like 4 receivers, check it out on my channel. I don't think he's got the ceiling of being like a great player, but he's just going to be really good in the NFL, play 10, 12 years, and be so reliable. So
I think Baker needs to know. So he's a great route runner. He was a great route runner at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a guy like Baker needs to know where he's going to be. And if he can throw the ball early and then Egbuka gets to that spot, I think you're going to see the two of them really start connecting because he's going to feel safe with Egbuka. The only thing that might knock him out is Evans. And, if Mike Evans knocks you down a little bit, then that's okay too, right?
But Chris Godwin was way out targeting Mike Evans before he got hurt last year because people were paying attention to Evans. And so Baker was feeding Chris Godwin, and that's what Egbuka's going to do. And Egbuka's he's ready. He's ready for the NFL. Some players need like a year or two, and he doesn't. He's ready to contribute right away, so that makes sense. Now I'm starting to think I should have put him higher. My number one.
Wait a minute. Before you do your number one, can I make this prediction?
Sure, go ahead.
Emeka Egbuka will do better than Marvin Harrison. Emeka Egbuka will do better in year 1 than Marvin Harrison will do in year 2.
That's very possible. That's not good for the Cardinals if that happens.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's not good for the Cardinals if that happens. Okay, we'll come back to that prediction. In about 5 months.
Okay.
Obviously, is Ashton Gianti, running back for the Raiders. I'm a little worried about the Raiders' offensive line, but then you watch him in preseason and his breaking tackles, running people over, his contact balance is insane. So even with that, somehow I think he's still going to win Rookie of the Year because he's going to. Let's put it this way. Ashton Gianti is one of the best 5 running backs in the NFL. He might be one of the best 3 running backs in the NFL. He's not played a snap. He is that good. It's hard to explain to someone who's never watched him play at Boise State how good he is. You just have to put on the tape. So even though the Raiders questionable offensive line, I can't drop Gianti from the number 1 spot.
And I get it. I completely understand it. But I also have to say, the other thing that I struggled with, you don't know how bad I wanted to put Cam Scatterby in this list.
He just missed. He and Caleb Johnson were my 2, and the Colston Loveland. Those are my Cam Scatterby, Caleb Johnson, Steelers, and Colston Loveland. I wanted top 13.
Well, you made the list of top 10. Well, no, actually, I made the list of top 10. You just told me what the topic was.
Yeah.
You know what you want to do next week by chance?
Top 10?
These our fans? Or are they just going to have to go over to the website and wait for us to announce it?
They have to wait for it. I haven't thought about it.
All right. So no problem. Hey, man, we got to 110 today.
I think this was the fun. The top 10 was the most fun yet. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well,
we could do defensive. Do you want to do defensive Rookie of the Year? Do you want to do that next week?
We can. That's fine.
Yeah, we can do defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. I like it. We'll do that. Just gained another follower after you said defense. So people like defense.
Defense wins championships.
All right. We're up to 111. Thank you guys very much for being with us. We certainly appreciate it. I've had a blast doing this, man. You and I are really kind of clicked together. We're doing a lot of different things and more people. So we're going to have to go back and watch the entire show. I know it's 2 hours and 39, probably going to be 40 minutes long or so by the time it's all said and done. But I'll tell you what, we have packed a lot of stuff into this. Cheese and I totally understand. Maybe you've got a half-hour drive to work and you have to listen to it in segments all week. And you know what? That's okay.
Do what you got to do. And we usually don't go this long, but there was a lot to talk about. There's just a lot of stuff. So
yeah, we got cut off a little bit last week because of my debacle there. We only had like an hour or so show last week, so we had to make it up this week.
Yeah, next week is the college football preview, so make sure you check that out. We'll make predictions of the conferences, who we think will make the college playoff, and who we will make predictions on who we think will win the playoff.
Yes, we'll go through the entire thing. I can't wait. I'm really getting excited for college football. So
me too.
That will be next week, and then the week after that, we will do the same thing, a preview prediction show for the National Football League as well. So the two big prediction preview shows back to back. We will throw some baseball in there as well because it'll be getting closer and closer to the playoffs. And then you never know. We might do some kind of thing with baseball the week after that. We'll concentrate on the college.
Oh, yeah, playoff predictions in baseball. Once the regular season ends, we'll have to do that. Absolutely.
We will. We'll have to do some stuff. We may even do a few special shows in here. So you never know. Keep watching. We'll tell you exactly what's going on with myself, with Cheese. Cheese, tell us where you're writing articles at, buddy.
PackersTalk.com, Packers with an S, talk.com. Every Monday, I have an article published, and you can follow me on YouTube at Football with Cheese, Cheese,
All right, fantastic. You can follow me here on Twitter at the 643NL Pod. I'll be on that. We'll be doing this every Tuesday. And like I said, I know I've said it 4 or 5 times, and you're like, just tell us already. I'm not ready to tell you yet because I don't like to cart before the horse. But we're doing some things again. We're doing some things behind the scenes with myself and Keith and with a couple other of our buddies. Hopefully, we'll be able to announce this relatively soon. It's going to be pretty big, I think. We're going to make it big, and you guys are going to help us in that venture as well. So, Cheese, anything else you want to add before we say adieu to everybody?
Well, you can follow me on X at Football Cheese without the with. So make sure you follow me on X. And fun show. And like I said, college football. Most podcasts don't talk about it. We do. The preview next week.
Right, preview and prediction show next week. And you guys, tweet us over. If there's something that you want us to talk about on this preview prediction show, we like to listen to our fans, all 114 of you that are with us right now. So thank you guys very much for that. As we always say at the end of each and every one of these podcasts, the only thing that's fair about it is the baseball hit between the third and first base line. Good evening, everyone.